Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we discuss new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover 20 titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and 20 from DriveThruRPG. The titles are presented in alphabetical order by site, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel and the creators, but you can also support the channel by purchasing one of our books. We've got lineages suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules and our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take potions to the next level in your game. And our Feywild companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for both players and DMs. Please support the channel by purchasing those books using the links in the video description. This week's episode covers titles released between October 1st and the 7th of 2021. We've got lots of 5th edition content as well as some OSR, everything from adventures, monsters, spells, subclasses, even campaign settings this week, so make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end so you don't miss any of these great releases. First up, we have 101 Poisons by Realm Warp Media. Authors Ryan Langer, Heath Harris, Ian Pace, Sven Truckenbrot, and Adam Dalheim. It's $5.95 for 19 pages. It says it brings over 100 new ways to kill your adversaries, subtly, painfully, quickly, slowly, or with just some mild inconvenience. Whether you are a martial class or spellcaster, there's something for every class. So here's a few examples. So the Blessing of Jubilex. When your enemy dies, they expel an ochre jelly. That's interesting. Eat Your Greed. Your enemy can only live off of gold, platinum, or silver. No more need for rations. So that's interesting. The player or NPC is going to have to start eating their money instead of other things. Magebane, a creature affected by this poison can't cast spells. That would not be good. And so there's bundles that contain this product, a bunch of the 101 series here. So you might check that out before you decide to buy. But let's take a look inside. So we've got Realm Warp Media behind this. They produced a lot of titles out there. Some other good ones to check out when you come to this page. All right, so we've got all the different poisons. There's a lot of them, 101, right? Some cool pictures to go along with it. We'll read a few here, but you get to see 14 of the 19 pages, so that's a significant chunk that you get to review. So definitely worth checking this out and seeing if there's anything that appeals to you, and then you can grab it. So let's see. Cleric's Lament. Rakshasas are famous for crafting this particular poison, although other devils aren't quite sure how they prepare it. A creature hit by a weapon covered in this poison finds any healing magic only tears their wounds open and suffuses their body with necrotic energy. Okay, so if you try to do any healing, it's just going to make it worse. A creature wounded by a weapon covered in this poison must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failure, whenever the affected creature is the target of a healing spell or potion, the healing is negated and instead inflicts necrotic damage equal to the amount it would have healed. This condition lasts for 1 minute. Once a creature has been damaged by this poison, they are immune to it for 24 hours. So for a minute, you basically can't heal. So that's interesting. And let's see what else. Let's read one more here. Fairy Forget. This oily liquid is concocted from pixie dust and certain herbs found in the Feywild. It becomes invisible once applied to an item, and one dose can be used to coat an item up to the size of a 5-foot cube. It is most commonly used by wealthy individuals or museums to protect important items or exhibits of value. Any creature who touches a coated item must succeed on an intelligence saving throw or forget everything that occurred in the past 24 hours. It also forgets any information related to the coated item, even if it acquired that information more than 24 hours ago. This often makes potential thieves easy pickings for security forces, or at the very least disrupts the ongoing heist. Interesting. So making people forget stuff, protecting important things, exhibits, museum stuff. It's a fun little flavorful poison. And so we just read 2 out of 101 of these poisons. So if you're in the market for poisons, if you need some dangerous items, look for 101 poisons in the link below and give it a click. Next we have 13 Horrors of Halloween. So this is timely because Halloween is just right around the corner. I do love this artwork. This creature especially looks fun. It's by Lucas Anderson, Bum Lee, Daniel King, Jack Wykiel, Jonathan Swadley, Aaron Ballou, and Sebastian Yu. It's 33 pages for $4.95. It says the Holodanger team presents a collection of frightening Halloween monsters unlike the standard werewolves, vampires, and ghosts you'll find in the monster manual. So that's true. A lot of the ones in the monster manual that are scary are kind of more traditional monsters that we see in, Universal horror movies or other types of literature, etc. Inside these haunted pages, you'll find frightening fiends and foes with horrifying lore and adventure hooks, expertly crafted stat blocks with insidious surprises, and magnificent artwork that will make you scream. Will you squash or be spooked by the mischievous pumpkin or their formidable pumpkin leader? So it's a play on pumpkin here with kin being the emphasis, which is a fun idea. Can you appease the skeletal 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙧, or will the towering undead crush you in its bony jaws? Is luck on your side, and will it be when you cross paths with Infortunia? So fun questions to ask, and you can see there's gorgeous artwork, nice backgrounds and lore for the creatures, adventure hooks, and then of course they have the stat blocks. We're going to look inside, but see giant blob, Nukkalavi, Spindleman, that looks like a fun one, Pumpkin, so Autumn Mischief Makers, and then here's some of the stat blocks. And you've got the Pumpkin, and then there's a couple bundles for this one. So if you're interested in this title, be sure to scroll down and look at those bundles. Make sure you don't want those other things if you're going to buy it by itself, because it might be cheaper to get it with the bundle and get a bunch of good stuff. And they even have one, I think, that's Halloween themed, or Monster Mash. And then of course Holodanger has a bunch of titles related to different holidays and stuff. So you can get lots of holiday fun if you get that bundle. So taking a look inside, cool art. I love the art in this book. It reminds me of Darkest Dungeon, which is a fun PC game. And so here you have the stat blocks. We'll look at one of these in just a minute. All kinds of Grow Drago. Here, 9 of the 33 pages are visible. There's the one that I like from the cover. So let's just read a little bit about Infortunia. Many adventurers set out to brave misfortunes on a grand scale, but they seldom think about all the minor annoyances that punctuate their daily lives. Whenever someone stubs their toe, drops a fragile item, or steps on a crack, these are all evidence of Infortunia's presence. Infortunia is a minor goddess of misfortune, born under an ill-fated star and destined to pass on her bad luck to anyone who encounters her. Regardless of Infortunia's own intentions, the people she meets will pay the price later. It's a small wonder that she is a reclusive goddess, fearing that her curse will hurt even those she cares about. Those who chance to meet Infortunia will find that she appears meek and even-tempered, but if hapless strangers should provoke her, they'll come to regret their indiscretions as the full torment of Infortunia's curse is unleashed upon them. All right, and then she's got some adventure hooks here, and she's gargantuan, so big goddess. We've got all the information. She's a CR 13, and some traits here and some actions. So we'll look at one of the actions here. It says, step on a crack. Infortunia stomps her foot, cracking all solid objects and surfaces within a 30-foot radius around her for 1 minute. Walking across cracked surfaces costs 2 feet of movement for every 1 foot moved. Additionally, Infortunia chooses one creature within 30 feet of her and she can see. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pulled into an unoccupied space within 5 feet of Infortunia and become restrained. The target can repeat the saving throw as an action on each of its turns, ending the condition on a success. So that's a fun one. Just stomping the ground and causing some stuff to happen. There's some abilities called Black Cat and Always Vexing. So fun titles for the different abilities of these monsters as well. And this one looks cool because it looks like it's holding something. Let's see. Also gargantuan. Yeah, gargantuan undead. So imagine this gargantuan skeleton coming at you. So very cool. Check it out if you're looking for something spooky. Maybe you're going to have a Halloween one-shot, or you just want some creatures that are a little different and off the beaten path to surprise your players. A lot of players look at things like the monster manual, which they're not supposed to do, but they do anyway, right? So they're not going to be surprised necessarily by all the monsters in there every time. So having something like this in your back pocket is a good way to just kind of spice it up, inject one of these creatures, and mix it up. All right, so check it out under 13 Horrors of Halloween in the links in the video description, and give it a click. Next, we have Absolute Villainy by the Arcanist Refuge, J.D. Mills, Dane Bankston. $4.95 for 29 pages. It says, create narratively intriguing villains that confound, foil, and interest your players. Absolute Villainy is a comprehensive guide that provides a framework to create villains that better serve the overall narrative of your game, rather than just being bags of hit points waiting at the end of a dungeon. Oh, so that sounds good. Nobody wants just a one or two dimensional villain. So it sounds like this is designed to help you make them come to life. I would definitely be interested in reading this one. In this book are 4 villain archetypes: the Eldritch, Overlord, Politician, and Rival. Each one has motivations, goals, and special interactions with the party and other villains. There are examples of classic monsters and types of people that can fall into these categories, and suggestions for different directions that you can take them. To wrap it all up, there are 4 villain profiles that use one of the archetypes and include ideas on how to plug them into a campaign. Additionally included is a witch character class focused on creating concoctions and strengthening their ritual casting. So that's cool. So you've got a whole class here as well. That's a bonus thrown in here. It looks like it's got some nice art as well. So yeah, liking the layout, liking the look of it. It reminds me of some of those box sets from TSR, you know, like Hollow World and things like that, with the color choices, which is nice. I like that a lot. So let's go look inside. So you got your credits. Here's the table of contents, so how to use the book, and then your archetypes, and then here's some monstrous villains, humanoid villains, and then villain profiles, as well as the witch character class at the end. So another, nice thing for Halloween to have a witch character class and villains. So, whether it's Halloween or something else, this seems pretty valuable. You've got the introduction. Not always evil. Villains can easily have the alignment of lawful good, chaotic neutral, or anything in between, and be a threat to heroes of the world. It's all about how you personify them, their motives, and their goals. So that's very true. Villains aren't always just completely evil. There's usually something motivating them. So you've got 6 of the 29 pages here. So here's the archetypes. The Eldritch says this villain is the most obscure, powerful, elusive, and all-around difficult to deal with. It could be a warlock patron, a god, a demon lord, or some Lovecraftian being of the far realm. The characteristic of the Eldritch is that their motives cannot be understood, and though their many goals seem simple, they have cosmic subtext and immense consequences. It will corrupt, influence, and offer power to anything it deems useful to its cause. The involvement of the Eldritch is an easy way to complicate a situation for your characters and ramp up the stakes. So, kind of a cool concept, very Cthulhu, Lovecraftian, dark, ancient evil, right? The Eldritch does not have solid or understandable motivations. Regardless, in order for you, the DM, to understand your version of the Eldritch, here are some ideas. I fear a world that lives without my influence. I fear that I will be forgotten. I fear a reality where the material plane has a future. I fear a realm without chaos. So those are good motivations. Good job on that. It is hard to pinpoint when it's so ancient of an evil. So yeah, they got methods and downtime, what they're up to, defeating them, and then you go into the Overlord, which is the next one. So that's a good, healthy amount of information for the archetype. Yeah, I like that. So again, I think this is a fun option if you are, maybe you're a creator, you're creating modules, or you're a home brewer, or you're a DM wanting to just maybe you have an older module or something where you feel like the villain is a little bit dull, or you've played it several times and you want to mix it up. So then you can use this to tweak that villain, make him 3-dimensional, and have fun. So yeah, check it out under Absolute Villainy in the links below and give it a try. Next, we have the Black Academy Primer, and and it's by 𝙤𝙘𝙘𝙀, $3.99 for 28 pages. It's already got a 5-star rating. This supplement is intended as a primer for the fledgling arcane caster aspiring to join the legendary Black Academy. Famed as the greatest school of dark magical art of necromancy, founded by the arch-necromancer and vampire lady Farennefer. Within these pages you learn of the 2 course tracks offered, the traditional Black Academy Necromancers and the newly founded College of Keening. Both these tracks offer unparalleled mastery of the dark arts. You will also find over 20 new spells and cantrips taught at the Black Academy. Additionally, the Academy helps you master the many tools of the Necromancer's art, more than a dozen magic items, consumables, and of course, legendary tomes of necromancy. Not for the faint of heart. Becoming a student of the Black Academy can be a perilous process, as you must ritually prepare your regalia as part of the rituals of acceptance. A quick but dangerous adventure. New subclasses for wizards and bard, 20 new wizard spells, 5 new magical consumables, including arrows of harm and handglyph, a dozen new magic items, including an artifact and Black Academy regalia item set, and a quick first-level prologue adventure for 1 PC. Find out if you have what it takes to join the Black Academy. So it sounds like a solo or duet adventure there at the end, but they're introducing a new faction basically with this Black Academy, which I think is also interesting because Strixhaven is coming out in a month or two, and so you can maybe work this into that. I don't know. We haven't seen it, so we don't know, but I would presume even if it's just a name of another school somewhere, that could be useful. And the subclasses, wizard spells, magic items. Seems like there's a lot of different things in this book. So it's got this cool little second edition look to it. I really appreciate that. I spent a lot of time looking at second edition stuff back in the day. So we will zoom in a little bit so we can read some, but you get to see 6 of the pages from the 28 pages, but they are spread formats, so that might actually be more like 12 pages. So here's some of the new spells. So we'll read one of those in just a second, but you can see some fun looking pages, very, very second edition. If you missed second edition, this might be a fun one to pick up just to have that nostalgic feeling. So we'll look at Black Blade here. It's a necromancy cantrip. It says, as part of the action used to cast the spell, you must make a melee attack with a dagger against one creature within the spell's range. Otherwise, the spell fails. On a hit, the target suffers the attack's normal effects as necrotic damage, and necrotic energy empowering the dagger deals an additional 1d4 necrotic damage to the target. The spell's damage increases when you reach higher levels. So it's just a little cantrip that adds some necrotic damage to some sort of melee attack, and it says here that your material component is a dagger, so, and your range is 5 feet, so within 5 feet. So yeah, this would be a good cantrip for somebody who's, an up-close fighter. Yeah, that's fun. And they've got all information on dark gifts. So yeah, it seems like a lot of things in this book, and you're sure to find something that's going to be useful when they've got so many different things, from magic items to spells to subclasses to a whole set of lore on this faction. So check it out under Black Academy Primer in those links below. Next we have the Book of Beastlings, a Fey-touched lineage of anthropomorphic animals with over 130 ancestries, by Ife Evans. And it's 75 pages for $5.99. It says the Beastling lineage with 136 ancestry options and several racial feats are included in this book from the Copper Sanctum. It says it was inspired by fairy tales and something about anthropomorphic animals near the back of the Savage Species book for 3rd edition. And it says the Beastling section starts off with a multi-page table that displays the general statistics and features of each Beastling. After the Ancestries table, the individual Beastlings are detailed in full. And then it lists all of the Beastlings, but there's a bunch of different ones, everything from aardvarks to zebras. So if there's a particular type of animal out there that you were hoping to see as a race or lineage, this book, there's a good chance this book has it, because you can see there's a lot of them here, and there's 136 options. So it says the table is included with heights, weights, and modifiers for every beastling. And then racial feats. The author says, I couldn't make such a diverse lineage and then not give them the capability to become ever more diverse through feats. So then there's these feats listed here. It says digital grip. One of the balancing aspects for the flight speeds of several beastlings is that they can't use their hands, arms to do anything else but fly while they are flying. This feat allows them to overcome that by using their feet. F-E-E-T. And then larger than life. Several beastlings are based on animals that are quite large, limiting them to being medium with powerful build. Didn't feel like it was really large enough, but obviously I didn't want to bump them up to large. I think this feat ended up being a pleasant middle ground, and honestly, I'm thinking about taking it for other things. So, very cool. Yeah, that sounds like some fun feats there, and it says various things on beastlings by family. So let's take a look inside at all these beastlings. So here's the list. You can see aardvark, ant, antelope, ape, armadillo, aurochs, axebeak for just the A's. And then you've got wombats, vultures, pandas, hyenas, jackals, foxes, seahorses even. So lots and lots of options. And it says, deep in the heart of the Feywild, if you look at just the right angle during the proper season when the sun is at the perfect height and the cloud cover is just so, you might just find a beastling city. Beastlings are fey-touched animals bestowed with more humanoid intelligence and form. Long ago, new beastlings were created by powerful fey beings whenever the mood struck them, though nowadays the various ancestries of beastlings breed true. Very cool. And then here's all the beastling names. You got racial traits, age, alignment, speed, fey-touched, languages, ancestry, etc. So yeah, here's your list. So all of this stuff does appear in the profiles for each of these races as well. They're just kind of here organized so you can compare and contrast, I guess, or maybe look for one where you're wanting to be. Maybe you want to play a small size, so then you can just go down this column and say, oh, here's a small, let me look at the badger. And some of the features are listed as well. So you get to see 10 of the 75 pages, and then after you get through that table, there's a few of the actual ancestries here. So you've got the aardvark, the antelope, and the ape. So let's look at the antelope since it's kind of concise here. Antelope beastlings are quick and light on their feet. They nearly always travel in small groups and have very tightly knit familial bonds. The horns on the antelope beastling's head grow continuously and are built for striking. Their thin bodies are covered in tawny fur, and they have cloven hooves rather than feet. So the suggestion is increase your dexterity and wisdom scores by 1 each. Antelope beastlings are tall and slender, standing about 6 feet tall. Speed, your base walking speed increases to 40 feet. Breakaway, you can take dash or disengage action as a bonus action on each of your turns. Herd defense, you can take the dodge action as a bonus action on your turn if at least 2 of your allies are within 10 feet of you. Horns, your horns are natural weapons, which you can use to make unarmed strikes. If you hit with them, you do bludgeoning damage. So fun. Definitely seems representative of an antelope with the horns and herd defense and things like that. So looks fun if you're looking for beastlings. Maybe you need them for your Feywild stuff. Maybe you just want to play as these different anthropomorphic animals. I know the Harengon's been pretty popular from Beyond the Witchlight, so you have that. One of the adventures in the Feywild Companion talks about these awakened beasts. So the beastlings could be in that first adventure, the 5 Lords of Shadewillow. So another use for that for those of you that bought that book. Lots of uses for this. When do you not need an anthropomorphic race that you haven't seen before at the ready, right? Just surprise people, make them go ooh and ah, because people like anthropomorphic things. It makes them giggle, makes them smile. So you could throw in any of these, a gecko even. You could try to sell them insurance with a gecko character. So it's a lot of fun. I like this. I think it's pretty creative, fun little cover. So check it out in the links below under Book of Beastlings and give it a click. Next we have Curse of Strahd Companion, Chapter 1, Into the Mists. This fun little gate on the cover by Wyatt Troll and Grimm Press. It's $2.95 for 34 pages. says it's your comprehensive guide to running the greatest and grimmest campaign in 5th edition. This guide arms you with advice, tactics, dialogue, flavor text, and a heap of variants and revisions to revolutionize your campaign. The companion is built to lead up to Wyatt Troll's mithril best-selling module, The Wedding at Ravenloft. So, fun stuff. It says this chapter of the companion concerns campaign-wide changes and advice, including a dramatis personae, an outline of the campaign's major characters with advice on how to use and roleplay them from Strahd to Sir Godfrey Gwillem. Fortunes of Ravenloft, a new artifact. Evil's Bride, battle-tested advice on how to handle Irina Kolyana, all the way from the village of Barovia to Kresik. Into Castle Ravenloft, the companion makes it very clear how necessary and rewarding a secret foray into Castle Ravenloft is for your campaign. Redemption of Godfrey. Sir Godfrey Gwillem is one of the campaign's greatest characters. So it's he's best rewritten as Strahd's reluctant servant. So they tweaked Godfrey there. Argvanos, the reanimated, the companion solves the obstacle in restoring Argvanos' skull to its rightful crypt. The destined ally, selecting Strahd's enemy. Ultimately, Arabelle should be the name drawn by Madame Eva. So, giving some advice on basically how to execute the Curse of Strahd stuff, and then here's how they're going to release each of the chapters, because this only covers chapter 1 Into the Mists of Curse of Strahd, but there's going to be 16 different parts to this, it looks like. So looks like next would be Death House Prologue, and then the Lands of Barovia's after that. So if you pick up this one, this is a great way to get into the early part of this process, see if you like it, see if you feel like this is good advice, and then you can carry on with the other pieces. So let's look inside. You get to see 10 of the 34 pages. Some fun artwork, looks really nice. And then it shows you the structure. So you got chapter 1 acts as a campaign overview, and then chapter 2 concerns Barovia. So it's just kind of showing you how they're going to lay all this stuff out. And then you've got the structure, the 3 pillars, the campaign themes, the campaign mysteries, welcome to Barovia. Yeah, this looks fun. Lots of cool artwork. So I'll read something early in case you're a player and you're watching. I don't want to spoil too much. So let's read about the big changes a little bit. It says the companion is vast and holds too many suggestions, revisions, and variants to encapsulate here. When it comes to your campaign, the companion advocates these grand, sweeping developments. St. Andrew's Feast is all but inevitable and marks the tragic and crushing end to Act 1. So they're making that like a requirement that you do that. So yeah, lots of overall stuff. I don't want to read too many of those because that would be spoilers. But let's look at Act 1. Welcome to Barovia. If Curse of Strahd is a noose, Act 1 is when the heroes are marched to the gallows. Every session must be devoted to cultivating an atmosphere of misery and dread. The party must feel trapped. They must come to understand just how precious and futile hope is. They are not heroes in Act 1, but condemned folk. Act 1 spans the prologue to the first phase of Vallaki, which itself is too complicated to run all at once. Ideally, it ends with the murder of somebody. I'm not going to say who. So yeah, major events, and then they go into the major events and the intrigue, and then how to do Act 2 Shadows Gather. So fun, good advice. If you're, maybe you're a newer DM or you've been running the Curse of Strahd for a while and you want to mix it up, this would be another way to run it and make it feel fresh, right? So check it out under Curse of Strahd Companion in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Dragons of Waterdeep, guide to various dragons in, under, and around the City of Splendor. So, Fizban's book is coming out this month, so might need some dragon stuff. So already Furbog Factory with this title being timely, which is nice. $2.95 for 40 pages. It says the price is reduced 25% through Veterans Day, so if you are interested in this one, this would be a good time to get it. It says, Dragons in Waterdeep, indeed there are numerous in fact, and not just in Waterdeep, but around and below as well. It says, written primarily for dungeon masters and game designers looking to add some additional flavor to their Waterdeep campaign, this publication significantly expands on the dragons in the City of Splendors. So you've got the intro, includes details and clarifications on 𝙒𝙘𝙘𝙀𝙡 Dragon War, the history of the confluence and the expulsion of the dragons from Waterdeep. Hidden Dragons of Waterdeep, different ones that are hidden there you can look at. So they've got some adult steel dragons and amethyst great worm, which is nice because the gem dragons are coming with the Fizban's book here. Dragons around Waterdeep. There are many dragons within flying distance of Waterdeep, and here's some of the ones. So you've got a topaz, a black dragon, blue, green, red, white, all those. Then dragons underneath, and then equipment, magic items, monsters, spells, and then a tower, which is a solar adventure designed for any level of play and is based on a portion of the 1989 solo adventure Night of the Living Dead. 𝘏𝑁𝑖GHT, Night of the Living Dead. But look at this awesome map. Really nice. Love the border. Love all the little styles they've got in here with the little fields and buildings. Looks nice. And then here they've got another realms map, which is always nice, of the Sword Coast. So those are beautiful, very promising. Let's look inside. We get to see 5 of the 40 pages. So you've got the information here, introduction, and then you get to see some of the dragons here. So it says the hidden dragons of Waterdeep. There are currently about a dozen dragons residing in Waterdeep in secret, all of which have been touched by the dragon staff of 𝙎𝙘𝙘𝙀. To keep their existence known to but a few, the hidden dragons of Waterdeep go to great efforts to never reveal their true identities to the citizens of Waterdeep due to the political fallout it would trigger related to their expulsion. So you've got Orynox, which is a gold dragon. Orynox is an adult gold dragon featured in WDDH, Waterdeep something, which notes that Orynox agreed to guard the vault beneath the city in exchange for retaining possession of the dragon staff of 𝙎𝙘𝙘𝙀. While functionally accurate, Orynox has no real intention of giving up the dragon staff, as his real sworn purpose is to protect the staff, as it is the key to one of Waterdeep's primary defenses, his brethren dragons. Okay, so got some lore, some mystery, some secrets here for Orynox, the gold dragon, and then we've got a steel dragon over here as well. So it's fun. There's some secrets. Add some secrets to Waterdeep. If you're playing the Waterdeep stuff, you can use this to kind of add some, previously unknown stuff. You can also tie it into Fizban's. So lots of options here if you like dragons or you like Waterdeep or both. So check it out under Dragons of Waterdeep in those links in the video description. Next we have Eve of Fall by Jesse Jourdak. It's a thrilling adventure, not for the faint of heart. It's already a best copper seller in its first week. It says, Fall House has been sitting abandoned on a remote plot of farmland for decades. An ambitious young investor has hired you to escort her to the property and protect her investment. Your party will need to discover the dark past of Fall House, protect your new employer, and if there's time, survive the night. Whether you're looking for a creepy one-shot just in time for Halloween, or if you're looking for a chilling adventure module to help flesh out Barovia, Eve of Fall is a fantastic balance of horror, intrigue, and danger. So you've got the adventure, you've got unique maps and original tokens for VTT, original enemies with starting combat mechanics, and then 5 STL files so that you can print, 3D print some monsters and terrain minis. And then it's for levels 3 to 6. So you can see there's no preview on the book, but they do have this, which is nice. So you can see kind of the intro, how it's set up, and then look at how cool these little minis are. I love these little sort of demon children here at the end. That's a lot of fun. And then you've got this map, one of the VTT maps, so that's very useful. I mean, you can even use these maps elsewhere for Ravenloft. They don't have to be just for the adventure that they include. So I like that. And then they've got like a trailer down here, which is fun. I watched that when I was picking the titles this week. It's a pretty cool trailer, so check that out. But yeah, I like all the minis. This book has a lot of different things because it's giving you text in the adventure. It's giving you the VTT maps, and then it's giving you 3D print options. So it's like covering 3 different areas, which I think is a really significant. You don't see a lot of releases that offer 3D printing options on DM's Guild, so I applaud them for doing this, and I think it's cool, especially since these are reusable for other things. You could see these in other parts of Ravenloft stuff or elsewhere, and then same with the maps. So very cool. Good price for getting all of these things in it. So come check it out under Eva Fall in the video description links. Next, we have Fantastic Feats of Forgotten Realms by Crit Academy. More than 55 new feats to enhance, customize, and refine your characters with a fun cover there. It's $4.95 for 18 pages. And it's by Crit Academy and Justin Hanlon as well there. We love RPGs because they offer us an escape to the world, allowing us to take on the role of adventurer so we can delve into forgotten dungeons, slay monsters, and stop the evil necromancer's plots. Arguably, one of the best parts of D&D is creating your character. When it comes to this, you can never have enough options. In this book, you will find over 55 new feats. So yes, we like that. Samples. Beguiler. Your honeyed words make it difficult to disagree with you. Whether through honesty or deception, you are almost always able to bring people into agreement with you. You gain the following benefits. You gain proficiency in deception and persuasion. You gain 3 adept points. Whenever you make an ability check using deception and persuasion, you can spend 1 adept point to roll a d6 and add it to the result. You can choose to spend one of your adept points after you roll the die, but before the outcome is determined. You regain expended adept points when you finish a long rest. So that's fun. You can kind of make people get on side with you, agree with you, and gives you some proficiencies there. Yeah, I like that. They've got Healing Hands, Victory Rush. Says Victory Rush, the thrill of battle fills you with excitement, granting you a burst of vigor. You gain the following benefits. Increase your strength, constitution, or dex by 1. When you take the attack action and bring creatures' hit points to 0, you can spend a hit die. If you do, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the number rolled, plus your con modifier. The temporary hit points last for 1 minute. And when you use your action to dash, you can use a bonus action to make 1 melee weapon attack or shove a creature. So, awesome. Fun stuff. Let's look inside. So you get to see 6 of the 18 pages. So here's all the feats listed. So quite a lot of them. Hellfire Blood, Opportunist, Improved Initiative, Dodge Giants, Dark Fury. So the names are a lot of fun as well. And they have an introduction. And, Crit Academy does a lot of good stuff. So I always like looking at their materials. They've been doing this for a while, and they produce good content, not just in the books, but they also do it online. So make sure you check them out, give them a follow, and look at what they're up to, because a lot of it is aimed at helping you have a better experience. So very cool. All right, we'll read one more here because we want you to come check this out on your own. Let's read about Dodge Giants. That sounded really cool. So prerequisite dwarf. Your clans have spent generations battling against larger foes. You've learned battle maneuvers that use their size against them. You gain the following benefits. Increase your strength or con by 1. Whenever you take the dodge action in combat, when an enemy within 5 feet of you makes a melee attack against you, you can use your reaction to shove them, knocking them prone. If the target is knocked prone as part of the same reaction, you can make a melee weapon attack against that target. So some fun kind of shoving going on, and since dwarves are a little shorter than a lot of creatures, this could be fun to knock them down and say, you think I'm not going to knock you down because I'm maybe little compared to you, but look out, I'm going to knock you down, make you prone, and get you with a melee weapon attack. So fun little surprise for that character to have available to them. And there's so many, Raging Storm, Quick Draw, lots of fun abilities in here. So I feel like this book has a ton of valuable feats to offer players, and you should check it out. So look for Fantastic Feats of Forgotten Realms in the links below and click on it. Next, we have The Wild Beyond the Witchlight Inside Slanty Tower, an adventure supplement for Chapter 2 Hither. I like this artwork. It's really fun. It caught my eye immediately, which is good. That helps. That helps when I'm picking titles. Having a great cover gets my attention. Daniel Kahn is the author. $1.99, 8 pages, and it's already got a 5-star rating, and it's climbing the charts. It's in the hot titles, as well as the titles under $5, because this price is crazy good at $1.99. It says, one never quite knows what to expect when they enter the Feywild. When a hot air balloon flies across the sky and crashes into a tower tipping in the swampy ground, even the most epic heroes may wonder, what in the world is going on? In order to get to the bottom of it all, the heroes must first reach the top of Slanty Tower and save a fairy dragon knight with vital information about Prismeer. Will the heroes find a way to save him or lose themselves in the swamp? So Prismeer is introduced in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight, and it's a brand new domain of delight in the Feywild. And so people are going to be doing the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. They're going to finish, and then they're going to say, well, we still like Prismeer. We want to explore some more. Or maybe you're a pro DM that's running Witchlight over and over and over, and you want to mix it up. Or same thing, you're not a pro DM, but you've been playing it a lot. You want to find a new way to inject something. This seems really fun. Just what we've read so far. It says, Chapter 2, Hither, is the first portion of the Prismeer described in The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Each of the locations presented in this chapter can be explored quickly outside the village of Downfall. This is because the book tends to favor non-combat resolutions. This mini-adventure aims to revise the Slanty Tower location in order to create a small dungeon experience where characters can engage in some tactical combat. So yeah, you could do this as part of the adventure when you're there, or you could come back and have a different experience at Slanty Tower, potentially. I haven't read the adventure, so maybe Slanty Tower doesn't exist later. I don't know. So if I'm wrong, tell me in the comments so that everybody can get updated. But yeah, I haven't read the adventure because I hope to get to play through it. The book describes Slanty Tower as a leaning tower that's 50 feet tall and 20 feet in diameter, and contains nothing but a spiraling set of stairs. This adventure creates a whimsical interior and story for the tower, so the characters may engage more deeply with the location. So, it's fun option. It says, assumes a party of 4 to 6 characters of 2nd level and presents some scaling options for parties for up to 4th level. So, you've got VTT ready interior maps, a new NPC, and then you've got adventure summary here, and here's some of the previews, but you can see they got these cool maps for the interior of the tower. Presumably these are VTT as well, and you can see they've got their flavor text for the read aloud here, and then here's some more of those great maps. I like this as well, that you've got kind of a legend here on the side of that cover art. So fun stuff, really nicely illustrated, timely. Yeah, there's no full preview, but at least you get to see some of this here. If I can read some of this here. Closed blinds block all but a few shafts of light, leaving the room in darkness. So yeah, some nice moody flavor text that you read aloud there. They've got the history of Slanty Tower. Yeah, lots of fun here to be had inside Slanty Tower. Look for it in those links in the video description. Give it a click and purchase it. Next, we've got Psionic Exploits by Damian Steele. It's a suggested price of $9.99 on Pay What You Want for 96 pages. It says it's a conversion of over 500 4th edition psionic powers into 5th edition abilities. The powers were converted from 4th edition Ardent, Battlemind, Monk, and Scion. These are designed as alternate rewards to magic items and treasure. They are similar to boons. They can also be used to add flavor and combat options to monsters and NPCs. Each rank is about equal in power to a spell of the same level. They're not intended only for certain classes, but as rewards for any character looking to add more psionic flavor to their combat options. There's a section included for converting each rite into a spell of the same level. So that's nice. They're giving you some flexibility on, instead of just having it be a boon or a psionic, it can become a spell. So it's cool. So you get to see 9 of the 96 pages. So 96 pages is no joke. That's a lot of pages. So very cool that it's that massive. So what is an exploit? Exploits are abilities converted from 4th edition powers. The ones in this book are taken from the 4th edition Ardent, Battlemind, etc. They are psionic, which means they are powered by the character's own trained mind and incredible willpower. These exploits are divided by rank, with each rank about equal to a spell of the same level. So it talks about, here's the spell level, and then the rank, and then a magic item rarity, and a level range. So it's nice that they have those comparisons so that you can keep the power kind of balanced. And it says how to use them, how players can acquire them, new rules and terms. So lots of new rules and terms there. And then converting exploits into spells. So let's look at See if we can find one of the exploits here. Yeah, I don't think they have any of the actual exploits in here. I think these are just the rules and the terms. That's okay. We'll look at some of these conversions then. So you've got the Adrenaline Strike, Ardent rank 1, Enchantment, Offensive, Psionic, Weapon Long. So maybe this is both. Yeah, this is one of those, because I was thinking it was converting them into spells and giving you examples, but this is actually, okay, this is actually the psionics. These are just the converted into spells, and then this page shows you some of the psionics. Okay, so Adrenaline Strike. When you hit a creature with a melee attack using a weapon, your attack deals an extra 1d10 damage, and for 1 minute, whenever you or one of your allies hits the target, the character who made the attack can move up to 5 feet without provoking opportunity attacks. No action required. So I'm going to assume that the extra damage is of the same type that the attack did. It doesn't specify that here, but I'm going to assume that's what it means. But it's got Ardent rank 1, so that's the exploit information, and it's an enchantment, offensive, etc. So then up here it tells you how to convert these to spells, and they've got some of them converted. So, and then here's some more psionic exploits. Okay, cool. So there's Adrenaline Strike as well. All right. So yeah, I just got confused a little bit by the preview. It feels like it goes from the exploits to spells to just some sample ones, but they may have made a special one just to example here just to show. Yeah, it looks like that's what they're doing. So here's the original psionic, and then here's the spell. Okay, that's why I got confused. My bad. But yeah, here's the spell. It's nice that they can be converted that easily, because it shows you how to fill in everything. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, lots of psionic fun, and I mean 96 pages with a fun cover. That's a really cool cover. And it's pay what you want, so you could pay whatever you think, and give it a try, and then come back and pay more. I think you can do that. I think you have to pay 0 and then come back to pay more, but definitely recommend paying something. Support these creators. Definitely fun. So check out Psionic Exploits in those links below. Give it a click. Next we have Pumpkin Rot by Trogir Scream Song. It's a short pumpkin spiced encounter for use in any adventure. And it's another one that I think is great for Halloween time or beyond. I always like pumpkin themed characters. I think they're fun. And this one's also a pay what you want title with a suggested price of $1.95 for the 9 pages. It says Fallen Sisters, Darkness Caught, Whence Became the Pumpkin Rot. So fun little rhyme there. And look at the artwork. They've got some generous artwork throughout. It says the stage is set for your adventuring party to find a strange pumpkin patch surrounding a small structure holding dangerous threats within. The pumpkin theme location and adversaries are suitable for any general setting, and you get 4 high definition 2K battle map image files for use with VTT. So thinking about this, let's say you have a campaign that you're running all the time. It's been going on for years, etc. So you don't want to maybe pause that to do something for Halloween. But this allows you to just plug in something into your existing campaign to give a Halloween experience without having to deter the whole campaign, because it looks like you're just going to come upon a pumpkin patch. So all you need is to get to a point in your campaign where you're near some wilderness, and there could be some sort of pumpkin patch in that wilderness, right? Or even in a farming community. Maybe it's on the edge of town or something. So I think this is a really fun way to inject Halloween into an existing campaign without disrupting your plans, because you can just put this in, run through it, and move forward. So, and then there's some plot hooks to bridge the story if you want to do some other stuff after this. There's 2 phases of mystery and conflict designed for tier 1 players, but there's suggestions for running at a higher level. So again, if you're dropping this into a campaign, you might need it for higher levels. So thankfully they've got that, and the price is nice to get, $2 or less to get a Halloween fix. I think that's good. So we've got some information here from Trogir and how to use the encounter, and then story hooks, and here's the pumpkin golem. Love the art for that. and then pumpkin constructs. And then there's a hag in here as well. Yeah, I think lots of fun here. And fits in the Feywild. You know, you've got a hag, you've got pumpkins. Those go in the Feywild as well. So we'll read this little flavor text for the intro of the pumpkin patch. That's not cinnamon. From outside the patch, the pumpkins glow a natural radiant orange, with lush green vines and scattered leaves filling the spaces between. Only upon entering the patch does the luster of the harvest season begin to wane, as a putrid smell of rot invades and disorients the senses. Every one of the pumpkins, upon close inspection, is rotting from the inside out, green or black mucousy substances oozing from any perforations in their skin. So this isn't just an ordinary pumpkin patch, if you haven't figured that out. There's all kinds of stuff going on. You've got kind of these evil looking pumpkin golems and stuff in there. So, you know, maybe they're mad about jack-o'-lanterns or people traipsing through. I don't know. But look at this fun map full of pumpkins, and it just looks like a good time, an easy way to squeeze it into your existing campaign, or to have just maybe a one-shot. Maybe you're just going to do just this one Halloween evening, or close to Halloween, or even beyond. Pumpkins are always fun, in my opinion. So check it out under Pumpkin Rot in the links below. Next, we have S4, The Lost Caverns of Tsojcanth. Not sure how to say that. It's a 5th edition conversion by Ernie Noah, $2.95 for 40 pages. So it converts the various monsters, magic items, and creature encounters from the classic adventure S4, The Lost Caverns. It's you need the original module, of course, to be able to make sense of this, because as DM's Guild creators, we're not allowed to like completely rewrite all the text and put it in. We can only do excerpts and conversions. So this guide includes stat blocks for more than 15 new monsters in addition to new magic items and artifacts. So, and then there's 70 DPI of all the key locations, so, and grid or no grid, so that you can use them with VTT. So you got all this stuff here. Here's the lesser caverns, greater caverns, wilderness map, and then all these bonus maps. So lots of good maps that you can use for this adventure or other things. I mean, you can always use maps like these, right, with the wilderness. So I like this because people have vast collections they've been playing since the beginning of D&D, and then they have these ones that they can't really play in 5th edition. So I like when people do conversions like this. It really gives people the opportunity to pull out and dust off some of that older material and give it a play with maybe some people that weren't playing around the time it came out. And what's also nice is when they do VTT maps, because then even if you buy this and you maybe don't want to play or don't get to play S4, you can still use these maps for other things. So very nice. Check it out under S4 in the links below. Next we have the Symbols Spell Supremacy, and by Solar the Arch Sorcerer. It's $14.99 for 120 pages. It says this book is a collection of the Symbols' knowledge, centuries of life, and intimate contact with the weave, battle-forged magic, special powers, magical transformations, powers of other planes, and vast repertoire of everything magical that help make her who she is. So first chapter has suggestions for table rules, including combat actions and conduct, interpretation of some game concepts, movement, extended rules for creating spells, then character options with 5 races, 8 feats, 2 backgrounds, rules for Circle of Magic, 6 subclasses, and 3 subclass revisions. And then you got Chapter 3, everything you need to develop magical research, rules to assist in balanced creation of magic items, upgrading a magic item, repairing, experiments to improve characters, templates. Then you got 64 magic items, 79 spells, and then monsters and NPCs. So lots and lots of stuff in this 120 pages. And then there is a quick preview and a publisher preview. So the publisher preview takes you to a different site, but it can be nice because you get to see more. So you get to see 9 pages. So nice table of contents here. You can see how much stuff is in there. Intro, and then the shaman, otherworldly patron. So they're just kind of you'll notice it goes from page 4 to page 28 to 32. So they're jumping through, so you just get like samples of some of the stuff. We're not reading straight through here. Magical research, magical item craft, magical experiments, and then magic items, a whole list of them here. So we'll read just a little bit of magic item craft here. The creation of items can be very quick and practical, where you think about the concept of the item and compare it with others already produced, and talking to the DM, try to balance it according to the game and the specifics of your campaign. However, there may be a need to standardize rules or even put a step-by-step that seeks balance. In this chapter, I present some optional rules that can assist in creating items and make the process less abstract. So that's nice. You can always use that when you have a character that's like, I want to make magic items. You know, crafting is not really covered too much by wizards directly. It's mostly in these third-party books that we get crafting options. And if you think about games like World of Warcraft or other games, you know, along those lines, there's a lot of crafting involved, partly because they want you to stay in the game online as long as possible, so they come up with these things to kind of sink your time into. But because of that, and because those games are fantasy as well, a lot of players are like, okay, I want to now do that in D&D as well, because it just seems like crafting is an integral part of my fantasy experience. So it's nice when you can offer that to players that really want to do that. And it might be something that is just kind of one-on-one enough that you could even do it over the phone or Zoom or something with somebody. Maybe you don't even have to have your whole table there. You can do it over the phone, or even play by mail, work with them to get their magic item crafted between sessions or something. But I like that there's just so much in this book, all these templates. I mean, there's got to be stuff in here that you can use with how big this is. So check it out under Simbul's Spell Supremacy in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have a Smattering of Swords, collection of sharp objects, with this fun little cover, playful cover on the front by Laura Renfrew. It's $4.96 for 41 pages. Swords, they're great. At least one person in your party is probably going to have proficiency in them. Add to your arsenal of magic weapons by adding 20 swords to your inventory, ranging from the mundane to utterly legendary. A blade that calls to you to join the shadows. A great sword that appears to those in their dying moments, giving them life to complete their noble quest. Fancy twin weapons, perfect for dual wielders to make interesting maneuvers. So, lots of fun stuff inside. And I love this comment. Note, not all weapons within this book may be strictly swords, but they are all assuredly pointy and will hurt you if you stab with them. So, never seen a disclaimer like that, but I like it. It's funny. Wow, fun interior looking layout, backgrounds here, like the art. It's very playful, like the cover. So, written and illustrated by Rennie or Laura Renfrew, with the support of patrons, so that's nice. I haven't seen anything by this author before, so I'm excited to get to see some stuff. It's fun. Okay, mundane items, a brief selection of swords, a bit more unusual than the standard fare. So you've got a saber, and then a Kyoketsu Shoge, hook sword. Yeah, so looks like we're just seeing the mundane ones, but we'll look at the hook sword here. It's a melee weapon, martial sword. Upon making a successful attack with this weapon, you can choose to attempt to trip your opponent. The target must be no more than one size larger than you and must be within melee range. You must make a athletics check, contested by your opponent's choice of athletics or acrobatics. If you win the contest, your target is pulled prone. If using two weapon fighting with a pair of hook swords, you can use a free action to link the swords together end to end. This prevents you from being able to trip your opponent, but allows you to extend your reach to 10 feet. While using the weapons in this way, two weapon fighting rules are not used. And then it's got the categories. So, the mundane stuff looks fun. I like it. Would like to see some of the non-mundane ones as well, because it sounds really fun. I mean, these descriptions: a blade that calls you to join the shadows, a great sword that appears to those in their dying moments, would be cool. So what you might consider, Laura, is just put one as an image in here, or even part of one. You don't even have to reveal the whole thing, but maybe part of one, because these sound really fun. But I think it'd be cool for people to get to see them. Let's see if we can see any in the quick preview here. We get to see a little bit of the Blade of Dancing Shadows here. So yeah, a couple pages all about this sword. That's fun. It's got some hidden power. I can't read the text because it's too small, but that's awesome. So I think these sound fun. $4.96 is low cost for 41 pages. So check it out under Smattering of Swords in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Snob Goblin's Guide to Herbalism, an extensive guide to getting more use out of your herbalism kit. So it's by Aidan Blountso, 34 pages for $2.95. So it says, introduces new ways to use the herbalism kit, forage for herbs in the wilderness, look for specific plants, choose from a list of more than 80 different herbs, brew a special tea, has a new take on rules for brewing healing potions, watch out for drawbacks and hazards, 86 different herbs, easy to use intuitive system that requires little to no knowledge to use right away, lists of herbs found in each environment, prompts to help you develop and roleplay your herbalist fantasy, a catalog of herbs that can be found and used on D&D Beyond. So that's cool. You know me, I love plants. I got them in a lot of my books because they're just fun and overlooked a lot. So anything that gives you more herbs, more plants, more things to find, and more use of those kits, I'm a fan of. So you've got Witch Broom, Witherbark, Wormwrithe. So those are some fun names. And then here's your swamp herb list. So just even by environment, that's super helpful because you've got all these things. And then there's spot, presumably is the DC needed to identify something. I like that. Cool. And it looks like they only have the small preview, but they do have those ones that you can read at the bottom. So we'll go look at one of these here. So the Witch Broom, a brush-like plant that often appears in occult descriptions of witchcraft. The Witch Broom is a plant surrounded by much superstition. The plant itself grows without any sustenance, having no roots and no other means of absorbing nutrients from its surroundings. It seemingly just appears at random in hilly environments. The herbalist spends 2 hours to submerge the herb into a mixture of herbs and alcohol to prepare it for use later. The effect is when used as a material component for the Bestow Curse spell. The spell has an upcast to 9th level, rendering the curse permanent. When a spellcaster uses the Witch Broom to cast a spell, they contract the cackle fever disease described in Dungeon Master's Guide. So some fun with diseases, some fun with spells, mixing things up. Yeah, that's cool. I like how they're trying to do some different things here with these different herbs. So yeah, if you need some herbs or you've got somebody who wants to use the herbalism kit, check out Snob Goblin's Guide to Herbalism in those links down below. Next, we have Sorrento's Magical Finds, Magical Items and Adventures. They Entwine. With some fun cover art there by Powell Findley. It's a suggested price of $5 on Pay What You Want, 18 pages. It says, in my travels through the varied plains, I have not only discovered wondrous items of power and mystery, but I've also documented the tales that accompany them. If you find yourself in the dire situation of telling a glorious story and need some extra spice, then you have come to the right place. The knowledge that lies inside will not only help you bring fresh, exciting, and balanced items to an adventuring party you know, it will also save you loads of hassle. Each item is paired with an adventure that aims to fit neatly into a wide variety of fantasy scenarios. Easily incorporate items into your story that are not just found, but are earned organically through heroism, villainy, or plain tomfoolery. So you've got 10 items with unique plug-and-play adventures, suggested settings, NPC names, and combat tactics, summary tables to find items fast. Let's look inside. So love the cover, very fun artwork. Got your table of contents. There's a quaint elven town with some items, the deepest dungeons, items, and city items. So that's cool. They're kind of organized by where you might find them. It says, since this tome is intended to be your easy guide to items wild and wonderful, I have taken it upon myself to include some keywords and phrases that will help you discover your next adventuring tale's centerpiece. These are organized in the tables below, which allows you to easily review all of the items and pick the perfect one for your stories. So it's got complexity and how you use the item, and then quest summaries, the length, setting, keyword meaning, beneficial for, type, yeah. So unfortunately, we're not seeing any of the items, so we can see how these different categories play into it. So this might be another one where you could do author, you could put like just an image of one of them with some of this information, because I know it's hard with these full-size previews. You can't skip pages. You have to do a publisher preview to skip pages. So it's hard sometimes for authors to pick the right pages, because if you don't want to give away your whole book, but if you don't go too far, then you don't get to see, maybe some of the meat of the book. So I get it. It's a challenge for sure. But yeah, you could put just a picture of one of them in here, but they sound cool. It sounds like you've got some cool little stuff going on with these different tags. So I would love for somebody to see just a screen cap of that, because in the quest summaries, they've got the item name, the length of how long the quest is going to be, the setting recommended for the quest, and then the type of things you would do with that item. You don't normally get all that extra detail with the items, so I do feel like this has a lot to offer. So hopefully you guys will check it out. Maybe by the time you click the link, the author will have added something in here, because we do notify all the creators once we go live with the video, so they can react and respond usually pretty quickly to make changes to their catalog page. But based on the art and some of the ideas, I think this has a lot of promise. So be sure to give it a click under Sorrento's Magical Finds in the links below. Next, we have Tasha's Scrapped Book. From a lot of people, I'm not going to read all the names, but we got Landon Zay, Mason Barnes, Xavier Bates, Joe Gaylord, Heath Harris, Sean Lance, Ian Pace, and a bunch more people involved. And it's brought to you by the same group that created Tasha's Crucible of Everything Else. This title contains articles that were cut from the final result of both Tasha's Crucible 1 and 2. Inside, you'll find subclasses, races, spells, magic items, monsters, lore, and expanded options for downtime. So here are the descriptions. You've got the subclasses. So for Artificer, the name is Luthier. For Druid, it's Circle of the Enchanted Forest. Paladin, Oath of Chivalry. Sorcerer, Hexblood Sorcery. And then races, you've got the Barrier, the Caprid version of a Centaur. Plant Folk, Awakened Plants. And then you've got new spells, 23 new spells, all listed here. 21 magic items, some listed here, and then a bestiary, DM's tools, and of course the fun cover art. So let's just read a couple of these here. So Anton's several bracers of elemental power. You can command elements with these bracers. And the kinetic ball, a thrown object that ricochets around dangerously, catch it or get out of the way. And then for the spells, we've got imbue creatures of the nature, strengthen beasts under your command. Possession, take control of a humanoid and shelter yourself in their body. That's fun. Definitely could see lots of uses for possession. Get inside the enemy, or even an NPC, and take advantage of maybe what their proficiencies are, etc. So let's look inside. Love the art always on the releases from this team. This looks great. Goes well too. Like if you were to see these in real life set next to each other, I think it would look cool to see all three covers sitting side by side. So here's your table of contents, giving you more information on the various things they offer. So here's all the subclasses and a description of them. And then it goes into the Artificer, the Barbarian subclass. So you get to see some of the subclasses with 9 of the 76 pages here. So, I mean, the original Tashas were quite popular. They're still on the popular titles, countdown list that they have on the page. So, definitely if you got those and like those, or you want to maybe dip your toe into it and check out some of the work from this group, I think this could be a good option. Let's read about one more of these subclasses. So it says, Druid Circle of the Enchanted Forest employs magical forms and rouses the nature around them. The Oath of Chivalry thwarts trickery and lies through the power of truth. I like that. That sounds like a good angle for a subclass. And then Wizard School of Surprises gains the upper hand through an unusual ability. So, and I'm just reading a few. There's a lot. I want you to come look at this on your own and discover all of those. So we'll look at the Barbarian here. Path of the Giant. Many tales tell the story of huge giants, colossal behemoths who guard mountain passages and oppose entire armies. Those who seek to emulate them find the path of the giant, throwing boulders and swinging trees as they chase comparatively weak intruders away from their homes. Few things are more terrifying than to hear the rumbling approach of one such warrior, especially when accompanied by their shouting, bellowing, and the telltale phrase, "I smell the blood." So, imposing third level skill here feature. Having disadvantage on strength checks, strength saving throws, and reckless attacks does not negate your advantage while raging, as long as you can discern the location of the target. So that's good. Rock Hurler, third level feature as well. You are considered proficient with using rocks as improvised weapons. A rock has a normal range of 20 feet and a long range of 60, and does damage based on its size as described in the accompanying table. So depending on the size of the rock, you can do some damage. So fun. It's almost always rocks around, right? Even in, maybe if there's a stone wall, there's one that's broken off. You can use that as a weapon. So let's look at one of the higher level abilities. Smell the Blood, 10th level. You have advantage on wisdom, perception, and survival checks made to find and track creatures that do not have all of their hit points, and creatures that are smaller than you. You can also cast Hunter's Mark using this feature, though you cannot do so again until you have completed a short or long rest. So very cool. Tracking abilities, smelling the blood. You've got the Bard, College of Riddling. That sounds like a lot of fun. It says while many bards actively pursue secret information and constantly seek obscure knowledge, a select few of them have dedicated themselves to making sure that some things stay hidden. According to them, knowledge and wisdom will come to you when you are ready, so you should focus on improving your mind and pondering deep questions more than searching for ancient tomes or lost libraries. While these talents are usually used to keep dangerous secrets and vile artifacts from being common knowledge, some can't help but play tricks on others using their impressive mind-bending skills. So, fun little subclass, and that's just the subclasses. There's a lot of other stuff in this book, so races, spells, items, etc. So, if you are interested in any of that, come check it out. Even if you're not, come check it out. You might find something you're interested in, and give it a click here. Tasha's scrapped book in those links, and give it a try. All right, next we've got The Undying. When you die, you just keep soldiering on, by Seawood Scribe and Nathan Hurd. $3.95 for 19 pages. So this is an excerpt from another book called Strahd's Manual of Shadow. So you might want to look at that book. It's down here. You can click it and check it out. Or over here, this is the Fantasy Grounds version. This is the regular. And see if you want that whole book or not before you buy this. Because maybe you want the whole book and you don't want to have to buy it twice. So check that out. But if you're only interested in this, it could be really fun. It says it's a homebrew class mechanically similar to the Fighter. Depending on the type of campaign you're in and how your DM wants to implement this class, you can start out as an Undying, or when you are killed in battle, you can lose a level in your current class and gain a level in Undying. So you can multi-class with it, or keep on start fresh with it, whatever works best. So Ghoul, Confound, and these are the subclasses. Ghoul, confound your enemies with paralyzing strikes and an unholy stench. Revenant, gain a few specific spells that help you in a quest for revenge. Skeleton, use a unique ability to rearrange your bones to achieve a variety of utility or combat functions. And then there's several others, including a wight and a zombie. So we get to see 3 of the 19 pages, and we're seeing part of one of the subclasses, I guess. Yeah, this is one of the subclasses. And down here, you even got some personality traits, so we'll look at those in a minute. But it says, Indomitable. When you reach 9th level, your undead nature gives you the ability to ward off grievous effects. When you fail a saving throw, you may re-roll your save and take the second result. Okay. After doing so, you must complete a long rest before you can use it again. And you can use it, the feature before completing a long rest increases to 2 at 13th level. So that's nice. And then causes of death, Ghoul, etc. here. Personality trait. You enjoy nothing more than discovering a stinky substance. You begrudge elves and trust them no further than you can spit. You take the hands and feet of slain enemies for tasty snacks. Ooh. So, got some ghoulish stuff going on, but it's appropriate, especially if you're playing, Ravenloft, or you want to have just like a darker character. This could be a lot of fun. So check it out under Undying Class in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Wardens of Neverwinter by Carl Terrence Vandal. It's $1 for 10 pages. It says it's a new ranger archetype for use in Forgotten Realms. However, it can be easily adapted to other settings. The Wardens act as the guardians and guides for travelers in the Neverwinter woods. They know the secret paths, the flora and fauna, and the hidden locations of the woods. They work with others to ensure the continuation and sustainability of the Neverwinter woods. So we get to look at all 10 pages in the preview, which is nice. So you got the map of the woods here, Neverwinter Woods. Intro and background, all about the archetype. Yeah, very cool. So let's read a little bit about this particular subclass. So it talks about the Neverwinter Woods, and then it says the Wardens are an alliance of rangers that have dedicated themselves to protecting the Neverwinter Woods. They are referred to as Wardens. They learn everything they can about the Neverwinter Woods, etc. They use their incredible abilities to assist druids of Neverwinter in ensuring the continuation of the woods and sustaining the balance of nature within them. At 3rd level, Wardens of Neverwinter gain the following feature. Their tenacity can wear down the most potent foes. When they hit a creature with a weapon attack, that creature gains or takes an extra 1d8 damage if it is below its hit point maximum. Wardens can deal this extra damage only once per turn. When a larger creature within 5 feet of the Warden hits or misses them with an attack, the Warden can use a reaction to attack that creature immediately after its attack, provided that they can see the creature. Once on each of their turns, when the Warden makes an attack, they may make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature that is within 5 feet of the original target and within the range of their weapon. And then here's all the information on the proficiency bonus and features and level. And then you've got the Warden's Sense, so they get a lot of stuff at 3rd level. And then the Warden's Companion. At the 7th level, the Warden gains a Beast Companion that accompanies them on their adventures and a train to find it alongside them. Awesome. Okay. Like animal companions. Bestial Fury, starting at 11th level, when the Warden commands their Beast Companion to take the attack action, the Beast can make 2 attacks, or it can take the multi-attack action if it has that. So, very cool. So, yeah, some flavorful, fun stuff for this particular woods, but maybe it could be used even elsewhere, based on what the author said. A lot of wilderness stuff going on with the Feywild right now, so this might be a way to start and get into having a nature-oriented ranger that is particularly connected to a specific set of woods, because if they know all the secrets of Neverwinter Woods, maybe they know where there's a Fey crossing there, right? So it could be a good way to kind of get the party into the Feywild and start Wild Beyond the Witchlight or whatever. I know there's a carnival that shows up as well, which is really kind of the Fey crossing for that adventure. But still, you could tweak it and have them skip the carnival. Maybe you're tired of the carnival. You played it enough times. I don't know. Anyway, fun stuff. If you're looking for a new subclass for your ranger or something different, click Wardens of Neverwinter in the links below and give it a try. That's the last DM's Guild title for this week. We're going to move on to DriveThruRPG, but before we do, please subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter at Splinterverse, like the video, leave a comment, share the video, and if you're especially generous, consider purchasing one of our books. Potions Unlocked, it's over 100 pages, print on demand. It's on sale right now until the 12th for $7.99 for the PDF, and it's also on sale for the bundle of the print on demand, and it's got everything you could ever want, with potions making them something truly special for your game. Then our most recently released Feywild Companion, it's a bestseller. It's Electrum already, on its way to the next level, and it is 150 pages of Feywild stuff for players and DMs, with all kinds of VTT pieces, whether it's the 79 tokens or the maps. There's so much in there for you. I'm sure you'll find something you like, so check that out. All of these are linked in the video description, and of course click all those links to shop for these wonderful titles. Even if you purchase something else, we get a small amount of funds to support the channel as well. But hopefully you're going to support all these awesome creators we've shown today, encourage them to keep on producing stuff. Now let's go on to DriveThruRPG. Adaptable Encounters from Indie Hobbies. It's a collection of fantastic and adaptable encounters. It's $3.99 at 32 pages, and it's for 5th edition. You can see they've got some very nice borders on their pages here. It says it's a selection of 10 encounters that can be inserted into any D&D campaign. The selection contains everything from simple single scenario encounters solved by a single exciting battle, to short and quick to set up adventures. Each of the encounters includes new monsters and their stats. The document will also include monster cards for reference during battles. So that's nice. You get monster cards, so you can use those quickly. I like that there's new monsters involved as well. It's got some good ratings already, 3 in its first week, so that's a good sign. And you get to see 2 of the 32 pages, so it looks like you get to see one of the encounters. So this is called Bizarre Predicament. And you've got your hook, a couple of setup things, and then right into the particular encounter. It looks like we're getting to see 2. Okay, so they're just 1 page. That's nice. And you've got your complications, resolution, layer actions for one of the elementals here that you're involved with on this elemental staircase one. So let's take a look at this. It says the adventurers descend into a deep and wide well by a metal stairs attached to the walls. At one point during the descent, a segment of the stairs come to life and attack the players. It is a steel elemental that they must defeat or escape. And then it has the following conditions. The pit has 4 walls 30 feet wide. The metal stairs are 10 feet wide, etc. And then you've got combat strategy. The steel elemental will take actions in this order of priority. So attacks a pinned opponent, pins a grappled opponent, etc. It says if the players defeat the elemental, it becomes part of the staircase again. If they escape without defeating it, the elemental could attack them again, appearing in another segment of the stairs at the discretion of the DM. On the initiative count 20, losing initiative types, the steel elemental takes a lair action to cause one of the following effects. And you've got these, so let's look at collapsible steps. The steps of the staircase are momentarily collapsed and turn into a steep ramp. Each creature in the area must make a dexterity saving throw or fall prone and descend 5 feet down the stairs. Immediately afterwards, the steps return to normal. So that's kind of fun. I mean, you're going to have steps in a lot of places, in various dungeons, urban settings, random places. So you could throw this encounter in with a steel elemental, and it's giving you some lair actions to go along with it. And that's just one of the 10 that are in here. So very fun, cool little designs they've got going on there. So I think this could be a good option if you're looking for some encounters for your campaign or your table. Check it out under Adaptable Encounters in those links below. Next we have a binder plot, the Mupplome Take a Manor. It's a one-shot campaign seed for Pathfinder 2nd edition by Joseph Fox. And it says it's an ongoing series of compact scenarios that are designed to live in the Dungeon Master's 3-ring binder until the next quiet session that needs to be made louder. It says just this side of Halloween, the Mupplome Take a Manor is an adventure seed spooky sandbox of a house designed for 3 to 4 characters of level 2 to 4 playing Pathfinder. Your players meet several potential new allies and or foils as they explore an eclectic 2-story manor house growing over with vines on the edge of town. And it says it's got over 24 detailed room descriptions, full-color maps, weird monsters, weird friends, maybe a deal with a dragon, bunch of stuff. So let's take a look at the quick preview. The full preview gave us an error, so if you're watching, you might want to look into that. I know the sites have been having some challenges lately with the free previews, so I understand. One error I run into with my books is that if you put in the full page count as what you want to show, it'll give you grief. So you might try a shorter range of pages, see if that helps, see if that works. Just a thought. Like the map, that's a nice looking map, and the art here is cool. So check it out under binder plot in the links below and give it a click. Next we've got Boil Guts Throne, a first level adventure. Love the look of this. It's from Craven's Keep, and they put out 2 this week, so it was tough for me to pick which one to cover. They both have very similar artistic style, and I like it quite a bit. I hadn't seen any of their stuff before since I've started this series, and so I'm really intrigued by them. I don't know if they're new or been around a while, but I certainly liked, at least visually, what I was seeing. So this is $4.99 for 16 pages, 5th edition, and it's a first level adventure designed and optimized for 4 players. It works well set in remote rural areas near a lake or close to a small country village. This is a number of years ago. A druid adventurer was attacked by a small troop of goblins in the woods. In his dying breath, the druid inflicted a curse on the goblin who ended his life. After a few days, the curse began to show itself. Large goiter-like boils began to grow all over his body, and thick mucus-like boil or bile pooled in his throat. The goblin, now estranged from his tribe, suffered alone as the curse warped his form into that of a bloated and grotesque creature. After some time, this goblin came upon another tribe of goblins. These new goblins attacked him. Upon seeing his horrifying form, the cursed goblin suddenly vomited acidic bile on one of his attackers, killing it instantly. The other creatures stopped their assault and revered the cursed one as being blessed with a divine gift from their god. They deemed the cursed one 𝙎𝙬𝙘𝙀, and he became their leader and king. So I like that backstory. It's pretty interesting. He goes from being sort of a outcast from his original tribe to being worshipped. So it's a fun way to make a distinct goblin. A lot of times goblins are just the faceless enemies that you have a bunch of, so it's nice to see a specific one here. So I like that. And so this book includes 2 new creatures, 3 new magic items, 2 full-colored maps, and of course the 12-page adventure. So yeah, let's take a look at the interiors here. So again, that awesome artwork continues on inside. You get to see 8 of the 16 pages, so pretty much half the book. Great artwork here for the map. Looks like they've got details for each of the locations. Lots of numbers on here, so that means you're getting lots of details about what's going on in the map. Sometimes you get a map and there's just 1 or 2 spots, or 3 or 4, which can be good. It's good to leave things for the DM as well, but if you're running an adventure, it's nice to have things planned out here. So yeah, lots of fun art all the way through. I like the layout, the style of this, so very well done, guys, on this. Let's see. Says the water of a local town has been rendered undrinkable after becoming tainted with sulfuric smelling acid. Vegetation is dying and people are becoming desperate as this situation begins to spread. Locals notice that a horde of vicious goblins moved into an abandoned barony a mile away from town around the time this plague began. Any attempts to remove the goblins have been deadly to those who have tried. This entire region could be doomed at the hands of this poison if a solution is not found soon. So good setup. I can kind of guess where that's headed, but that's because I read the catalog page. Had I not read that, I wouldn't have an inkling of where it was going to go. So looking at the hooks here, they give you 3 hooks, which is nice. Got all the listings. Let's read one of the rooms here. The tower. A small hall from the main cabin goes to the base of a 20-foot tower, the top of which can be reached by an iron stepladder that leads to a trapdoor at the tower's top. Okay, so trapdoor, fun stuff. And then here's the lair, all the information on the lair. I'm not going to spoil that, but it looks pretty good. Yeah, I think this is good, and if you're looking for a goblin good time, this is definitely a title for you. So check it out under 𝙎𝙬𝙘𝙀's Throne in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Capstone Spells for the spellcasters who reach the pinnacle of magic for their class by Lore Masters Archives of Wonder. $3 for 24 pages, 5th edition. Says each of the following spells are class specific, meaning that only those of that spell's specific class can learn it and cast it. These spells cannot be learned through the Bard's Magical Secrets feature or any other features or traits or effects. So the concept here is for every spellcasting class, there is a spell in this book, and it's only available for that particular class. You can't have it across multiple classes because most spells are multiple classes, right? So this is an interesting concept that there's just this one-off spells that you're not going to see another class casting it. So for example, the cleric one is called Miracle here. You're not going to see a sorcerer casting Miracle or a wizard casting Miracle. Maybe if they're multi-classing, it could happen, but other than that, I don't see how that would be possible. And even multi-classing might be hard, given you might have to reach certain levels to even access the particular spell. So let's take a look inside. This particular publisher is at least in the few titles of theirs that I've seen, is well known for visuals, because every page has like a really cool look to it, very magazine style, which I like. I'm guessing the people that work on this have some good experience in their background, which is nice. So here's the title, description, and then here you go, the first spell, Automaton, which I think is the Artificer spell. It's a 5th level transmutation, casting time 1 hour, range, touch, VSM on the components. Until dispelled, you bestow the semblance of life into a small or medium-sized humanoid figure made of the materials used as the components of the spell. The figure becomes a construct that is under your control indefinitely. Okay. The construct is friendly to you and creatures you designate. It obeys your spoken commands, moving and acting in accordance with your wishes and acting on your turn in combat. It cannot speak, but understands all languages you know. You can give the construct an order to perform a task until it is completed, specifying when to stop performing this task. For example, you can tell the construct to chop down 10 trees and to stop once 10 trees are cut down. It will perform this task to the best of its ability and will not cease until the 10 trees are cut down. You could also tell the construct to guard your laboratory or home against all threats, and it would do so indefinitely. When you cast the spell again, the previous automaton's crystal shatters and it ceases to function and becomes an object. Okay, very good. That answers my question. I was going to ask, can you just cast this over and over and have an army? But no, at the very end it says here, basically you can have one active at a time. So interesting. And then you've got the stats of the automaton here. Let's see if it has a CR rating. No CR rating. So I'm not sure how strong it is, but it's a medium or small construct. And let's look at one of the abilities. So it's got melee weapon attack with fist. It's got reactions of shield, and then here it's got a special ability under its traits, anti-magic susceptibility. The automaton is incapacitated while in the area of an anti-magic field. If targeted by dispel magic, the caster makes their check against the 5th level spell. If dispelled, the automaton ceases to function and becomes an object. So that was just one, and you're getting an extra stat block with it, with fun artwork, really fun artwork. And it looks like Dev Wazlewski, who's doing the writing, is also doing the art. So Dev is super talented from what I can tell, and it's on display here. You've got the Bard spell Encore. It says if you cast a spell on your first turn of combat, it automatically fails. One creature of your choice other than yourself that you can see within range takes an additional turn immediately after this turn ends. Okay, so that's an interesting, and it goes perfectly with the name. It's a 9th level enchantment. So Encore, you want the musical artist to do another song. This is analogous to that in that they're getting another turn, so I like that as well. But always love looking at the books from Dev Wazlewski because the art is just awesome, and the writing here is interesting too. I'm liking it. Didn't see a lot of typos or anything, so looks like a fun option, and it's only $3, so check it out under Capstone Spells in the links below. Next we have Chromatic Dungeons Basic Rules Rulebook. It's an old school fantasy role-playing core set, basically. It's from Isgrim Creations, 86 pages, OSR. You can get the PDF for just $1. So that's, there's a sale going on right now until October 12th, 2021. And it is only $1 for this book, so you can check it out instead of the normal $5. I don't know if it's part of that sale or if this is just a sale from the author. But so some of the titles we're going to see on DriveThru today will have sale prices, so that's nice. Softcover black and white book for $10, or you can do a combo of both the softcover black and white with the PDF for $10. So save $1, and actually more because it's on sale for the combo right now. Already got 2 5-star ratings. Says Chromatic Dungeons Basic Rules is the slimmed down basic rule set for the Chromatic Dungeons game. What is Chromatic Dungeons? An OSR clone of TSR era gaming modified with cleaner, more intuitive rules when necessary, and presented to be inclusive of all types of gamers of this great hobby. So what is included? 3 core character classes, the fighter, wizard, and rogue, ancestries of human, elf, dwarf, and halfling, heritages to customize your character, simplified rules and mechanics to make it easy to learn and fast to play. So, and it says it contains all the rules that the players need. A separate booklet for monsters and treasures will also be available. And you can see down here, they've got the monsters and treasure book also on sale for $1. So, very cool that you can get everything you need for the Dungeon Master and the player for just $2 right now if you go digital. But that's exciting. I like that there's also a print version for very inexpensive right now. So let's take a look inside. So you get to see 8 of the 86 pages. So here's your table of contents, playing the game, creating a character, experience points, all the information on the attributes, and then the ancestries, character classes, etc. And then creature sizes, making an attack roll, converting systems, spells, spell books, appendices, all kinds of stuff. And we skip some of the sections here. And there's even some pre-gen characters, which is nice. A little basic intro there, forward, definitions, creating a character. So it takes you into the character creation section. I won't read any of this because it's probably stuff that all of you are already familiar with, but I do like the look of it. It seems like it's got that retro black and white feel to it, so that's fun. And I like the name of it, Chromatic Dungeons, especially since we're talking about being inclusive, so I think that's an appropriate name for it. So very cool, interesting, and I mean, for $1, if you get anything out of it, that's great, because can't buy much for $1 these days. So check it out under Chromatic Dungeons in the links below. Give that a click. Next we have Deadly Gardens, Book 1 by Ren Brown and Jacob Michaels for Rusted Iron Games. It is $4.99 for 36 pages, 5th edition. It says, welcome to Deadly Gardens Book 1. We are excited to bring this series to 5th edition fantasy rule set. In our Deadly Gardens series for the Pathfinder role-playing game, we published over 50 original plant and nature-themed monsters for that game. Now we bring those to the 5th edition. 12 of those 50 or so Deadly Garden monsters are in this book. They're planning 5 installments, each with around a dozen or so monsters. So, very nice. And I think natural-themed monsters for 5th edition is pretty helpful right now, with the Feywild being a prominent setting. You can always use some monsters. I do like this cover quite a bit. This art here is really nice. So let's look at the interior. Get to see 5 of the 36 pages. So here you got your intro, credits, and then they're listing all of the different monsters that you can encounter. So you've got Blood Roses, Deathcap Fungus, Dreamweed, Fairy Circle Stalker, Gloombow, Green Man, etc. Some fun sounding names. So the Blood Roses, very cool. Deathcap Fungus. And you got all the Deathcap. Looks like several stat blocks to go with the Deathcap Fungus. Presumably it's going to connect, the fungus is going to infect something, and then it's going to become either a ghoul, a mummy, or a zombie here, which is nice. So we'll read a little bit about that. And there's also a new hazard here. So it says a necrotic fungus, Deathcap fungus is a small black mushroom that is infused with necrotic energy. They grow in decaying plant matter or animal carcasses. When they chance to grow on the body of an undead creature, the undead is able to draw upon the necrotic energy of the fungus. So this is apply the following changes to any corporeal undead creature to turn it into a Deathcap version. So it's nice that it's a template, because then you can just take all this stuff and put it onto an undead. But then you've got the variations here of ghoul, mummy, zombie, etc. already made out for you. But this is fun. I mean, there's lots of fun plant stuff in here to go with the Feywild, or whatever you're working with. Plants are pretty much everywhere, so you're going to have all kinds of opportunities with this book to spring a brand new monster on your players. Maybe you're playing, a Wizards of the Coast module, and you want to just sprinkle in a new monster somewhere. So this could be a really good option and opportunity to do that. So look for Deadly Gardens Book 1 in the links down below the video description. Next we have Disappearance of Rembrandt, an occult detective adventure for level 4 by Jan Luce. And it's $5.99 for 20 pages, 5th edition. This is an alternate history adventure set in 17th century Amsterdam. for a group of 4th level players. It is a cold October morning in 17th century Amsterdam. A group of well-dressed, heavily armed men carrying muskets and pikes are gathered in front of a canal house. They have an appointment with the painter Rembrandt van Rijn. The purpose of their gathering is to pose for a painting that they have commissioned. However, the maid explains that Rembrandt is missing. In this occult detective adventure, your player characters will investigate the painter's disappearance. The characters will meet individuals portrayed on some of Rembrandt's most famous paintings, such as The Night Watch and The Anatomy Lesson of Dr. Nicholas Tulip. And it says it's roughly a 3 to 5 hour one-shot. You get maps, tokens, and statted creatures. So that's fun. I like that it's also in a different time period than we're used to seeing. So it gives you something a little different. Since it's a one-shot, it's not like you have to build this entire world. You could just have your players play this. If you've got a group that's pretty good at sticking to the path, I guess, you could just play this and not have to worry about winging it in 17th century if you're not used to that. But anyway, they've got a lot of information on running the adventure hooks. You're going to see all 20 pages, so really no reason not to consider getting this book, because you can read the whole thing and see if it's going to work for you. See the whole adventure all the way through. Nicely done with the art as well. It gives you that feel of the 17th century for sure. They've got some stat blocks here at the end for you, which is nice. And then a conclusion. Little maps here. So we'll read something. We'll scroll back up and read. I like to read closer to the beginning on adventures because I don't really want to give away too much. But you can see, looks like these would be the tokens that you get as well. So it's nice that they've incorporated those into the page. Looks very nice. So Act 1, Rembrandt's house. It is the year 1642, and it is a cold October morning in Amsterdam. A group of well-dressed men, we read that earlier. It says, at the entrance of the building, a man with a black hat and a red sash is speaking with a woman in her early 20s. She's holding a crying infant. The men are members of the city civic militia. They have dressed up to pose for a painting that they have commissioned. Okay, and then there's a handout that you show related to that. When the characters approach the building, they are hailed by one of the militiamen dressed in yellow, including a large hat with white feathers. So, fun. Starts off people trying to get a painting done, and they find out the painter has disappeared, and they have to resolve it. So, looks like a good time. If you're looking for something different that is not the normal fantasy setting, but is still fantastical, seems like this would be a good option for you. So check it out under Disappearance of Rembrandt in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Dungeon Crawl Classics 𝘨𝑗𝑚𝑎r, The Greatest Thieves in 𝘨𝑗𝑚𝑎r. And this is, Fritz Lieber's setting, and it was around in, I think, 1st and 2nd edition. There was a lot of it for 𝘨𝑗𝑚𝑎r. And it's a fun urban setting. So I was excited when I saw that Goodman Games was bringing it back here, and it's $30 for the PDF at 164 pages. So since it's for Dungeon Crawl Classics, it works with 3rd edition, 3.5 OSR, all that good stuff. And it's for level 3. It says, from the most famous city in the history of fantasy comes a sword and sorcery adventure that only the best gamers will survive. The Greatest Thieves in 𝘨𝑗𝑚𝑎r is a Dungeon Crawl Classics adventure that sends characters into the hot cellars beneath Thieves' House, across the city rooftops of the city of 7,000 smokes, and on to a mad dash through the palace of the Overlord. This box set comes with everything you need to run an epic adventure over several sessions, whether you run it standalone or part of an ongoing campaign. The Greatest Thieves in 𝘨𝑗𝑚𝑎r was first run as a tournament at Gen Con 2019, where 20 nationally competitive teams competed over 4 fantastic days and 3 hard-fought rounds. Characters died alone, lost beneath Thieves' House as their torches burn out one by one. After 44% of tables experienced TPKs and nearly 6 in 10 PCs were killed, one team survived to win the tournament. How will your players compare? So that's interesting. They had so many people playing it at Gen Con that they probably got some tweaks to the adventure. So that's quite a bit of play testing. You'll get a 68-page booklet containing the adventure, 20-page book of player handouts, 16-page player pack, 48-page judges pack, and 12-page scoring sheet. So it is like a box set. You're getting all these individual files, which is nice. Luck tokens ready to cut out for using fleeting luck at the table. 4 pages of rooftop chase tokens. That sounds fun. A huge 44-inch long rooftop chase map to simulate the chase. That's really cool. And then Dicing with Death, a complete standalone bonus adventure designed to be deployed when characters die in the main adventure. Okay. So a lot of fun stuff. I mean, we don't get to see a preview here, but I'm excited by all the different things that you get. I mean, rooftop chase map. I mean, you can reuse that for things. You're getting all these little booklets, getting that feel of the old school days where you get a box and it has all this fun stuff in it and you can't decide what to look at first because there's so many cool little things. So I feel like this adventure box is just a bunch of fun waiting for you. So check it out under Dungeon Crawl Classics Linkmar in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Goblin Grief, 5th edition adventure for level 1 to 3 characters by Menagerie Press and written by Karen Jackson for 5th edition. 25 pages at $11.99. It says the adventurers are hired by Lord Brendat Eridu to rescue his fiancée from a band of goblins who are holding him for ransom. What the goblins want is the enchanted sword Goblin Grief so that they can destroy it. Lord Eridu claims the sword is in the catacombs, and if the party wants it, they'll have to go get it. And so, yeah, I enjoy this artwork on the front, showing these characters going to battle here. Let's take a look inside. So you get to see all 25 pages. Well, that's super nice and kind of the publisher to let you look at everything and pretty much try before you buy. So there's the setup again, and then you've got the title page, all your credits. For some reason it's loading slow. I think it's because there's a lot of images on these pages. It's pretty image heavy, which is good. So you've got your intro, part 1 through part 5 of the adventure, and then Appendix A, information on Goblin Grief, and then other locations as well. So yeah, this is really nice. I like this. Look at this with this border. Got the catacombs. So it's going to take a while to scroll, so I'm not going to scroll any further because I don't want to slow us down. And there are settings if you're watching author to make your PDF smaller file size. There's like various settings that come with some of the InDesign templates available on the 2 sites that help you reduce it for things like this. So it might just need to be reduced so that it can be seen. Looks beautiful, so I love it. Nothing wrong with it, but your preview is always going to be a little slow for people, which is not the end of the world. Just letting you know in case you do want to tweak it so that your preview is not slowing down. All right, so we read about the adventure background a little bit. It says adventure overview. The party can choose to brave the catacombs to retrieve the sword, or they can decide to set out for Warmock Hills to confront the goblins. In the catacombs there are skeletons and zombies to face, but a magic sword to gain. The party could use Goblin Grief to pay the ransom to Segrab, or to give them an edge on slaying the kidnappers. To reach Warmock Hills, the party must pass through the Fallfort Woodland, a forest infamous for dangerous creatures. So I don't want to give away too much, but it sounds like a really fun adventure. So if you're interested in something new like this, look for Goblin Grief in the links below and give it a click. Next we have The Jewel of Khadim Bey from Zoth Publishing. It's a sword and sorcery adventure for character levels 2 to 3. Like the cover art. Looks fun. It's $3 for 26 pages. Author Morton Brayton. This is a cry for vengeance. Daring thieves entered the Grand Palace last night and stole the fabled emerald from the Bay of Zolbazir. But one of the thieves was betrayed and now asks you for help to get revenge. Will you ally with the thief to steal back the jewel of Khadim Bey? So it's a standalone adventure module inspired by Robert E. Howard and other pulp era tales like Conan, etc. It's 5th edition, and it's originally published as part of a collection, but this new version has been updated for 5th edition rules and includes new maps and artwork. So character levels 2 to 3, it's a mix of mystery, role-playing, skullduggery, wilderness and city exploration, and deadly combat. You got city and dungeon maps inside, new monsters and NPCs, as well as new magic items. So let's take a look at the interior. So you can see 7 of those 26 pages. So you've got the city, and the adventure, and then monsters, treasures, etc. So very nicely prepared, lots of breathing room in the characters to be able to read here. So I like that. Fun maps. And then here you've got the city with all the different districts. That's always cool. Because, you don't, there's a lot of boxes here, right? You don't get details on every single box. So as a DM, you can invent, who lives where. Maybe there's an NPC, you got to pick where they're going to live, and that's kind of fun. You got details on all the different districts. We'll probably read some of that in a minute. And then information on the city guards, what their CR rating is, their languages, tactics, etc. And then some encounters here for 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙧. So the citadel, the great citadel of the governor, rises above the crowded streets of 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙧. This walled district contains the governor's palace, the grand court, a labyrinthine harem said to have 100 bedrooms, a temple dedicated to 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙤𝙤𝙀, the 6-armed ivory goddess, as well as barracks housing Kazakhstani officers and Yimarite mercenaries. Occupied by Kazakhstani nobles, officers, and merchants, this district has broad streets and walled mansions. Slaves care for the desires of the Kazakhstani nobles in their lush gardens here day and night in the noble district. So some fun districts. They've got the Bazaar, Foreign District, Artisan District, Old Town, Temple District, Slum District, and the Pleasure District. So, seems like a lot going on in 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙧. So you could use this setting even after you finish this adventure. And since they're publishing quite a few adventures, there may be even other ones that take place there, I'm not sure. But it looks like a fun time with a nice setting. So check it out under Jewel of Khadim Bey in the video description links. Next we have Player's Mix for Lasers and Liches, and it's a beta. It's on sale for $25, normally $35, for 242 pages. Author is Chris Locke, and it's got an average rating of 5 stars after 4 ratings already, so that's pretty good. It says, welcome to the Retroverse, an exciting new 5th edition universe from lasers and liches that resides in a place of half-faded memories, barely remembered songs, lost childhood friends, outdated styles, abandoned dreams, lost playthings, vaporware, and time-corroded nostalgia. A place both strange and familiar. A place for adventure, friendship, chaos, and the magic of yesteryear. In short, a place that combines your love of the present with your adoration of the past. So again, this is a beta, but it says version 3 has added the new synthetic species, subclasses for the glitch, hunter, and apogee, a smattering of bug fixes, and some enhances changed up skills. A few other new surprises are inside. It says puts the player mix just shy of complete with only 2 classes still missing, which are going to be added soon. And presumably, if you purchase this as things are added, you'll get those because you are buying the book that they're updating. And it says there are bugs, so the current price reflects that, and it will increase as it grows nearer to completion. In terms of price, it'll increase. And it says thanks for helping us make this the best game possible. So I think it's fun, the concept definitely, and I love the artwork. It looks like it's by 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬, and yeah, look at all this stuff going on. You've got basically a party going on with a synthesizer and some anthropomorphic characters and lasers. Reminds me of like Jim and the Holograms, with some anthropomorphic stuff thrown in or something. I don't know, but I like it. And look in here, you get to see 9 of the 242 pages. So you can see they have a fun layout. This grid always reminds me of the old school Transformers, like the original G1 Transformers had these sort of 80s grids behind them, which were just fun. And yeah, so really cool artwork in here. all throughout you've got all these characters. So we'll look at one of them here in a minute, but you've got Power Mask. The Power Mask Henshin type links you to a robotic animal companion that can transform into a large pilotable robot. This, mixed with their natural combat aptitude, makes them difficult opponents on the battlefield. Their uniforms usually aesthetically match their robotic counterparts, as does their attitude. These Henshin sometimes form teams to which they are fiercely loyal. So, very Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, all the fun little tokusatsu style battle teams is kind of represented here. So it seems like they're going to take a lot of the things that we're familiar with and work them into the game, which is a lot of fun. It says when you weapon upgrade, when you choose this mask type at first level, you receive an additional form for your network weapon. Using your bonus action, you can shift the weapon between melee and a ranged weapon of your choosing. You cannot have 2 melee forms or 2 ranged forms. And then Zord, when you choose this mask type, you gain a Zord companion. It is a robotic ally that follows alongside you on your journey and is programmed to aid you in whatever way it can. So very fun tokusatsu style character. And yeah, I got more characters like that. So yeah, I wasn't realizing initially that there's a lot of that influence in here, but I love it. And then you've got this fun character up here who's very different from maybe like Power Ranger stuff. So it seems like a fun mixture of all kinds of things that we love and are obsessed with and various fandoms all rolled into one for a super good time. So I'm down. I want to try it sometime. And I love all this fun art. It takes me back to all the 80s, 90s fun things. So check it out under Lasers and Liches in the link below and help them get their beta sorted out so that it can be the best game it can be. Next, we've got Pot-Bellied Kobold's Guide to Villains and Lairs by Jeff Stevens Games. And it's focused on something called They of Many Colors. And I love this artwork. I also love the 5e logo that they're using. Very fun. Everything about this I love. Just looking at the cover. I haven't even looked inside. So good job, Jeff Stevens, on that. You've got my attention. And it's $1.95 suggested price on a pay what you want for 10 pages. And it says, They of Many Colors is an ancient feathered dragon. Though it more resembles a serpent, lacking wings, legs, and claws, often in the taverns of larger cities, one might overhear a story about the giant-sized beast. These city folk believe it to be a thing of myth and legend. It is not. They of Many Colors considers itself a god, as do many of the people living amongst the forest where the beast lairs. Some pay tribute to They of Many Colors, leaving gifts of food, treasure, and drink on a stone pedestal in the forest near the dragon's tree-top lair. More malicious people lure adventurers to their god's lair as their own form of tribute. So let's take a look inside. Again, stunning artwork. Love the layout already. Fun backgrounds, everything. Yeah. Look at this cool artwork. So it talks about what it is, and then goes into its lair, minions, and then using it in your game, and then the stat block. So fun stuff. So we read some of that. The dragon wants to be worshipped. As long as tribute is given, it is content. Though in dire times, when crops have been scarce and livestock thin and weak, causing villagers to leave lesser or no tribute, the beast has attacked caravans and farms to remind the faithful of its needs. The dragon is narcissistic, obsessing over its appearance and demanding attention and admiration. If confronted during combat, it may parley, offering the combatants their lives in exchange for lifelong devotion and worship. Angering a god is unwise, and if the adventurers fail to honor their agreement by paying monthly tribute, They of Many Colors hunts them down. Okay, so as pretty as it looks, it's kind of ugly in its behavior. It's not into people not worshiping it, so that's okay. It's a monster, so it can be a bad one, and evil. So that's cool. In fact, let's see what its alignment is. It's neutral evil. Okay, so we called it. Got some evil in there, and since this is a dragon and Fizban's Treasury of Dragons is coming out here imminently, this could be a fun additional dragon to work in if you're going to build a whole dragon-themed campaign. Apparently, there is some sort of adventure elements in that book. I'm not sure they have a full adventure, but there's some things that you can use to build an adventure. So maybe you could use this. And I love the art. The layout seems like a creative enemy. So check it out under Potbellied Kobold 5e villains down in the links below. Next we have SOS 10, The Tour of Bones by Lewis Kahn. It's an adventure for players levels 2 to 4. It's an undead themed one-shot, and it's compatible with OSR and 5e. So it says the Druidic necropolis of Dara was built inside a mountain peak known as the Tour of Bones. It was destroyed by a terrible storm ages ago and abandoned, but its burial vaults remained. These days it is overrun by wandering creatures and the angry dead the druids left behind. So, and this is the 10th adventure in the Old School series, so that they've got quite a few in the series, but they seem to be standalone, so you don't have to play them in order or anything like that. But they've got these fun little maps. You got some water and stuff going on, looks like. Maybe flooded. You've even got a nice hex crawl map. You also get bonus materials booklet which includes larger scale versions of the maps, individual character sheets with 4 pre-gen characters, so that's fun. This is all from Starry Night Press here. It's written to be generic and compatible with most fantasy role-playing games and should be usable with Osric 5e and most fantasy role-playing game rule sets. Minimal statistics are included in the text of the adventure, but complete OSR statistics are included in the appendices for both the standard foes and the new foe. So that's fun. Looks really cool. And it's $5.99 for the 28 pages. Let's look inside. They just have the quick preview, but we can still see some fun stuff. You got their table of contents, your maps. Yeah, nice, decent amount of art spread throughout. So looks fun. Yeah, if you're in the mood or in the market for an OSR or Osric adventure, one that can maybe be converted to 5e as well, check it out under SOS 10 in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Southlands Worldbook by Kobold Press for $29.99. It's 322 pages, and if you've watched a lot of these videos, you know I love Kobold Press. I'm always interested in what they're up to. I think they're really well put together in what they release, and I think that they have a lot of talent in both the art and the writing. They definitely make a mark in the industry and worth looking at to learn from, just from that alone. And the Southlands is a really fun setting. They also have their Midgard. They've got some really great settings, and these are not small potato settings. I mean, 322 pages. That's significant. And this is just the world book. They also have a player book as well, and this is 5th edition version. I know some of these have been around for prior editions, but this is the 5th edition one. So it says, a vast realm of living temples and carnelian tombs. In the Southlands, the world is alive with elemental power and wondrous magic. Ancient god kings walk among the living, and empires at their height echo the mystery and majesty of the past. This campaign setting is ripe with possibilities for adventure in ancient tombs, enormous jungles, and searing deserts, where swift-flying sand ships dart between distant cities. The sprawling Southlands include the legacy of Jinn, the domains of gnolls, the ruins of minotaurs, the gifts of god kings, and many more rich stories perfect for high-adventure campaigns. This is a glittering array of kingdoms to adventure in, 2 continental-sized 6-panel poster maps. I mean, the maps are no joke in these books. Everybody should take a look at the maps in their books. It's just, they're massive. They've got 30 new gods, 26 new monsters, 9 universal NPCs, 33 magic items, and new Southlands equipment. So that's good. Encounter charts. And it says additional resources are available for players in the Southlands Player's Guide, right? So yeah, that's also down here. You can check it out, as well as they released that and the City of Cats Adventure, as well as this all this week. So, you know, we only cover one title per creator if possible. So we didn't cover all of those, but you can see those down here. Check those out as well. But it's just really cool. I'm excited for this. 6 pages of the 322 available for you, but look at this art. I mean, they always have just stunning art and beautiful layouts. So you've got intro to the Southlands basically, and then each of the lands gets its own section with geography, culture, government, prominent religions, events, adventure seeds, all that good stuff. And then later you get into the gods, and they've got information on all the gods, and then NPCs, magic items, random events, and then timelines and maps. I mean, it's just so much content. There's so much content in this Southlands Worldbook. I think that, I've got the Midgard one, and it's following a similar model here, and it's just going to have so much content for DMs to really sink their teeth into and set up an awesome campaign. And then I'm sure the players will also like the players version as well, because it's equally a large book. With just stunning art, and just even flipping through and looking at the art, I think this book is going to be worth a purchase. So please support Kobold and the channel by clicking that link down below for Southlands Worldbook and give it a try. Next we have We Die Young, Supernatural Role-Playing in the 1990s, or Survive This it's also called, from Bloat Games, and it's for OSR. It's got 9 5-star ratings already. Just came out this week. So that's a good compliment for the book. It's a spiritual sequel to Bloat Games' 1980s based RPG Dark Places and Demogorgons. We Die Young is set in Seattle in the 1990s during the grunge and alternative music counterculture movements. Seattle became the epicenter of popular culture and began attracting musicians, artists, and supernatural creatures from all over. It's heavily inspired by the grunge music scene. In We Die Young, you play as a 20-something humans, vampires, werewolves, mummies, fae, and fairies, and multiple other types of supernatural creatures and character classes. Each has its own unique history and abilities. So it's a standalone role-playing game and does not require any additional gaming materials. However, it's 100% fully compatible with Survive This Zombies, Dark Places, Demogorgons, etc. It's D20 based with an OSR influence. So if you're used to D20, you can use your D20 and try to survive this, basically. And there's a whole little video from the Kickstarter version of the game. But let's look inside. You get to see 81 of the 370 pages, so that's quite a big preview here. So it talks about what a role-playing game is, getting started. Here's your fun character sheet. I like the typography there. Attributes. Some nice line art, saving throws, all this good stuff. So we've got ghouls here. Hunger chart. You must eat 1/4 of your body weight in recently dead humanoid flesh, 1 day old or less, every 36 hours. If you fail to do so, roll on the chart below after the first 36 hours and every 12 hours afterward. So, all effects are permanent. So D12, roll a 1, you lose 1 constitution. Roll 2, lose D4 hit points. Wow. Yeah, so those are some impacts. But it makes a difference. I mean, to show how the zombie style characters are different. So it's fun. Scholars of Alexandria. There's just so much to see in here. Vampires, vampire powers, like animal transformation must be at least 4th level. As an action, you can transform into a bat, cat, rat, or wolf. While in animal form, you retain your vampiric stats and attributes, but you cannot cast spells. Transforming back is a free action or happens automatically if reduced to 0 hit points. Okay? So you can play as some sort of monster, werebeast, vampire, zombie, werewolf. It's all in here. And then they've got classes like mystic, naturalist. So lots of fun stuff, and the scene, is going to be nostalgic for a lot of people that maybe either grew up on the grunge scene or came into it later and really have a fondness for that music scene. So, and then, fun cover art as well. So check it out under Survive This, We Die Young, in those links below. Give it a click. Next we have Swamp Camp. It's an 18 by 12 battle map, and you can see here on the cover some of the gorgeous detail associated with it from Deep Dark Designs. It's $1.49. The artist is One Day GM, and it says It's an 18 by 12 battle map that's compatible with any tabletop role-playing game and is perfect for printing at home or uploading for use with any VTT platform. So that's good. This boggy campsite is set in an oppressive marshland ripe with fetid mud and incessant overgrowth. Its remote location and inhospitable terrain keep it warded from prying eyes, while the broken wreckage of a ship along its shores provides excellent housing for its residents. So you could use it for violent offenders to hide in, or a swamp hag, or a coven, or even local hunters or people having a miserable time in the swamp. So you can see little domiciles here. Comes with 300 DPI, 72 DPI, so that's nice. You get the variations. You got tiles, gridded, non-gridded, all kinds of stuff. So I really enjoyed looking at the art in this. I think it's really nice to see, and I always like to have at least a map every week if I can, or something visual for you to look at, not just books and text all the time. So if you're looking for a place for your characters to camp, maybe you're playing Ravenloft or you're playing any kind of adventure where they have to go through a swamp, you can use this swamp camp battle map. So look for that in the links below. Next we have Thralls of the Crypt King, Valley of the Undead, which is basically some STL files to 3D print some minis. So it's $15 from Foxcraft and Neil Billings, and it's got all these fun little skeleton characters that you can see, and some zombies. So this would work well with Survive This, or really anything where you need undead. I love this court jester and maybe a queen here. You got some knights, and then there's the painted versions. Those look really good. So yeah, we don't always get to show minis, but I like to include those occasionally, just so you guys have different things that are out there. A lot of good stuff being produced, so look for it under Thralls of the Crypt King in the video description links. Give it a click. Next we have Tomb of the Shadow Lord from Kabooter Games, and it's $2.95 on sale, 12 pages by author R.P. Davis, and it says it's originally written for the Spears and Spells game. It's now been adapted for 5th edition. It's a one-shot adventure in the OSR tradition, providing approximately 4 hours of entertainment for 46 players with characters of 5th level. It says OSR tradition, but it doesn't say whether it's 5e or OSR. So if you're watching RP, you might want to update that on the checkboxes over here so people know, are they getting OSR or not. It seems like it's OSR, but I would add OSR, because also people will search using the rule system over here, and so they might search for OSR and not find this. So be good for them to find it if that's what it is. So high in the mountains of Calvartel is a remote fastness where Shalazar the Plague Master was imprisoned. In his day, a millennium ago, Shalazar's hordes of voracious undead swept across the land, and for a brief time, he set himself up as a conquering emperor. Before he could achieve his dreams of conquest, he was betrayed, brought low by a band of adventurers, and transported in magical chains to a craggy cavern where he now rests. The guardians of Shalazar's prison sealed the doors and departed for settled lands, certain the threat was past and their task complete. But it was not to be, for Shalazar had other plans. Shalazar's dream was to transform himself into a lich, an undead sorcerer so powerful that death itself was no barrier to his magical might. So sounds like a really fun setup. Tomb of the Shadow Lord makes perfect sense as a title with a lich involved. So you can see kind of all this stuff going on. When you scroll through, some cool line art, some nice stat blocks. Got lots of stat blocks and some cool maps. Get to see all 12 pages, so yeah, no reason not to take a look and see if you would enjoy this one, and if you do, give it a purchase. But let's see. Okay, getting to the tomb. This is up to you, dictated by the world you've built. Set the tomb in Calvartel in a remote mountainous wilderness far off the beaten path. If you want to hand wave the journey and just have the characters appear at the dungeon entrance, fair enough. Perfectly in keeping with the old school Renaissance. So I think this is 5th edition based on these stat blocks. So even though it's got the OSR feel, so maybe RP, you need to add the checkbox for 5th edition just to make sure people find you. I want people to find this. You put a lot of work into this. General characteristics for the Tomb of the Shadow Lord: light. As befits the Tomb of Shadows, there's no light within other than what the adventures bring with them. Okay, so this is going to be a dark tomb. Each square on the map is 10 feet on a side. So all kinds of details about this stuff. The crack of fear. When the crack widens, the cavern is immersed in shadows, a magical darkness so deep, so complete that it can't be pierced by sight, even magical true seeing. It can't be dispelled, and light that's brought into it is suppressed, natural or magic, no matter how powerful the spell that generates it. So that's interesting. So it's Tomb of the Shadow Lord, and there's a place in here where basically no light is going to work at all. That's really creepy and dark. I like that. So this could be good in Ravenloft. It could be good anywhere. You can drop this anywhere you need some darkness. So check it out. Tomb of the Shadow Lord in those links below. Give it a click. Warlock 𝘏𝙗𝙤 or Hussein. It's Fire Ruby Designs. $9.48 for the PDF. Black and white book at $33.89, and then a combination for $38.89 as well. So same price for both. It's already a best copper seller first week. These Warlock books are quite popular because they're being reprinted. 4 5-star ratings already first week. It's for OSR. It says, you've heard the tales of Fair Hussein, home of the Summer Empire, final resting place of the Sorcerer Kings and their fortunes, mysterious land of tropical jungles and golden deserts, filled with magical creatures known as the Jinn. 𝘏𝙗𝙤 is a setting supplement for Warlock, the old-school role-playing game inspired by the early days of British tabletop gaming. This book explores the land, its history, and its inhabitants. Included within these pages are 20 new spells, 12 basic careers, 7 advanced careers, and 33 new and exciting creatures native to the land. So yeah, Warlock is a lot of fun, I've heard. But there's 10 pages here out of the 220, so there's a lot of pages. From Fire Ruby Designs. So here's all about the location and the characters and surviving there, and then you got your spells, and then the Jinn, which is like genies. All kinds of good stuff. So yeah, if you scroll through this, it says, across the great sea lies a land of bountiful treasure and infinite sand. Spirits known as the Jinn roam freely, and mortals tread lightly, lest they offend the magical creatures that dwell there. 3 grand cities rest along the shores of Azure Bay, each controlled by a daughter of the Grand Sultan. The high walls provide a sense of normalcy to the day-to-day lives of the citizens. Within the safety of this protection, they worship their gods, sell wares, and tend crops. Bustling ports feature all manner of foreign ships bearing diplomats eager to establish trade with the Grand Sultan. So they're kind of really establishing the tone of the Jinn here. Yeah, this seems like a really fun location. There's this little section here called Why Have You Come to 𝘏𝙗𝙤? And it says, you passed out drunk on the docks and somehow ended up on a ship to 𝘏𝙗𝙤. Hopefully this doesn't become a habit. Now where's the closest tavern? So all kinds of fun stuff in here waiting for you for adventure. And, you know, like I said, Warlock is pretty popular. So check it out under Warlock 𝘏𝙗𝙤 in the links below. Next, we have World of 𝘏𝙤 Player's Guide, which is a massive 188 pages from Mechanical Muse. It's $19.99 for the PDF, and it's for 5th edition. It says, discover the world of 𝘏𝙤, an amazing new campaign setting designed for 5th edition. In 𝘏𝙤, you'll unlock a setting that rekindles the fire of classic heroic fantasy game worlds. It's literally everything that made fantasy RPGs such an incredible phenomenon, reimagined and refreshed for today's gamers. The book includes everything you need to make a character for a World of 𝘏𝙤 game, as well as the 𝘏𝙤 rules you'll need at the table over the course of your adventures. Inside, you'll find 7 new lineages, so you can play as one of the 7 new 𝘏𝙤 lineages, including Chibats, Drothmals, Fairies, Nuerden, Orog, Sitha, and Sprites, or choose from your old favorites, such as humans, dwarves, elves, and halflings. You've got cultures, callings, and finished touches. Add richness and depth to your adventure with new character creation options. Choose from 15 unique 𝘏𝙤 cultures, 9 different callings, and a wealth of options for fleshing out your character's history. And I should point out that this is the player's guide, but they also this week released the the Adventurer's Guide as well as the Game Master's Guide. So lots of stuff related to 𝘏𝙗, multiple books. So be sure to scroll down if you're looking to get into a brand new setting as a DM as well. You've got heroic character classes, everything you need to play your favorite classes, including the new Mountebank class. There's a point-based magic system. Discover the secrets of glyph magic, an exciting new system for point-based arcane spellcasting. Draw on the power of ley lines, charge your essence stones, and cast spells directly from newly recovered spellbooks. But beware, roll a 1 and you face potential disaster with catastrophic spell failure. And much more, all of the great content described below, plus a dozen new divine domains, 9 new backgrounds, new spells, and over 20 pages of equipment with a revised pricing system based on a real 13th century European prices. So that's fun. That's a good idea that they've kind of I like that they've taken some chances and revamped some things like spell casting and pricing. So that's fun. And look at how beautiful it is, how well laid out it is with stunning art. Here's the Droth Mall. And then some information on various things. There's a new attribute, essence points, it says, and you've got glyph magic. So this is 5th edition with some tweaks, which is cool, in a beautiful package. So if you're looking to shake things up, try something different, World of 𝘏𝙗 is definitely for you. This is not just 5e with a new setting. It's 5e with some tweaks. And what's cool is you could get in here and try some of these things and say, okay, I'm going to tweak my other D&D stuff to maybe try some of these mechanics. And look at this cover. It's just beautiful, right? Yeah, all of this, even the layout of the table of contents looks nice. So you got the lineages, the cultures, the backgrounds. Quite a few backgrounds, actually, including a sailor, a shopkeeper. They've got callings, classes. Yeah, whoever worked on this is really talented. They've got a lot of good ideas, it sounds like. So here's all the core books, your Adventurer's Guide, your Player's Guide, Game Master's Guide. And then you do need the 5th edition rules, but there's a crash course here on some stuff. And then, oh, look at that gorgeous map. So nice. The Amethyst Sea. Yeah. And you can decide when your adventures are going to take place. So you get to see 11 of the 188 pages. It says, the books touch on many ages in the history of 𝘏𝙗, ranging from the legend of the world's creation to the year 423 AC. The typical 𝘏𝙗 adventure begins in the year 423 AC. The start of the new age will one day earn the name the Age of Heroes. During this period, the ancient seals that hold the armies of darkness at bay are failing, and daring parties of independent heroes known as adventurers are stepping forward to join the fight. So nice epic kind of background of what's going on, why they need heroes. But yeah, I mean, just looking at the table of contents, your backgrounds, you've got acolytes, arcane apprentices, healers, shopkeeper, and you could probably use these backgrounds outside of 𝘏𝙗 too. So I'm seeing a lot of value in this book, and I think you should give it a try, especially since it's part of a big series of books from Mechanical Muse. So look for World of 𝘏𝙗 in the links below and give it a click. That's the last title for this week, so be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave us a comment, share the video, follow us on Twitter, and click those links down below to support all the creators and this channel. When you buy anything from those sites, through those links, you're supporting the channel because we do get a small percentage off of that. Also, if you're feeling especially generous, consider purchasing one of our books. We just came out with the Feywild Companion. It's 150 pages of Feywild fun for DMs and players. Got literally everything in it, from monsters to subclasses to a whole new domain of delight. You name it, it's in there, with 79 tokens, a bunch of maps, all kinds of good stuff. And we got potions unlocked here on DriveThruRPG, which is over 100 pages, print on demand or digital. Take your potions to the next level. Surprise your players with new ways to use potions instead of making them throwaway items. And then we've got Van Richten's Librum of Lineages, which is how to give you optional rules for your lineage use, which you're going to need because a lot of these books, even 𝘏𝙗 is using lineages, right? They're everywhere now. So you want to check out the rules that we have in that book, as well as the new lineages that we created. So those links for all those books are also in the video description, so please check those out and consider a purchase. And as always, support all the creators you've seen today, even if it's just giving them a follow, helping get the word out about their brand. This is a lonely business, sometimes not profitable for people, so we need to show them the support, make sure that we're contributing to their success and that they continue creating these wonderful products that we get a look at each week. So until next time, happy adventuring.